even worse than what we saw here. Like, there's just not as much oomph in these plays. After you have 5,000% to the upside, it's hard to follow that up. So we shouldn't be too surprised that they're not as good as the ones before. It's 11 o'clock. Apple event at 1 o'clock, everybody. The midday starts about now. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, and we'll see you on the flip.
And halted already. Didn't even get to execute on it.
Okay.
That's crazy. Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the midday show. That right there is your boy Joey Options. I think I like the lighting a little bit better like this. I'm not going to lie, right? Shout out to Fabian, man. He's always doing the most in an absolutely good way. Joseph, shout out to Sharif's Lips.
Okay.
Mateus Lane and Mr. Leahy. I'm so happy YouTube fixed the names. Ronaldo. We got Siru, we got Rex Banner, Just Living, Mike P.D. Ryder, James Dell, Fiddleback, and Paul Goodson. Shout out to Mishem, shout out to Vern and Evan, Manford, Durant, we got Will, we got Omar, we got Thomas, Jewel, Olson, D. Skirts. We got, who else, man? Shout out to Mary, shout out to Ahmed, shout out to Showtime, T-Pens, Grant Ratcliffe, and your Huckleberry. Oleg with Jason, as well as Durant. Shout out to Billy Madison and Omar. The Tranquil channel. I keep telling you every time, Mr. Tranquil channel, this is the wrong station between the Katina man and I. Nope. There ain't no Tranquil, bro. The Boxster, nope. Adam freaking Duluth, a.k.a. All Class Adam. We got Aura Alpha. We got Two Wheel Crypto. Shout out to Do Rufus and Tony Curry. One more Joseph.
Oh.
Joseph. Joe Jose M. Gonzalez. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a solid day. Happy Tuesday. It's been a pretty interesting one. Market selling off. Some revised job numbers as well, too. So interesting stuff. But yeah, enough of that. Let's get into some of these trades and what we're talking about. What was on my list today? That's going to be APLD. That's going to be Applied Digital. I don't want to steal our light. We're going to talk about this later.
Wow.
Adair, what do you got?
Some news on Boeing, and actually just got a headline on NVIDIA too. BA on watch here. I'll start with that one. Apparently their output for August marks their best August since 2018. So this is their best output for this month in 7 years. Total year to date now at 385 for BA. Now let's take a look at NVDA because we have a chip-related announcement from NVIDIA. NVDA on watch here, unveiling a new chip system for AI and video software creation. Excuse me. This is the Rubin CPX product. It's going to be debuting at the end of 2026. So NVIDIA unveiling a new chip system that will be debuting at the end of next year. Boeing also on watch, of course, with that best August since 2018. Back to you.
Right. Yeah. 1 second there, my brother.
Take your time.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. So yeah, APLD. We were just looking at this, so you can see in the post market yesterday, you get that move up, and I'm okay. Are we going to get a continuation, or are buyers going to step in at any given point throughout the session? And that's what we were looking for specifically. Some nice eastward price action in this morning's pre-market, kind of following what we experienced yesterday. So essentially, what we got going on is, all right, we see this selling, it gets aggressive out of the open, and then what do? We look for some forms of indecision around the lows, and then sure enough, we had the ability to catch some. It's working out, didn't crack this low, which was positive because you can see I did double up the position, and then boom, 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 we take some off, and then we get stopped out a little bit of our remaining position right there. Nothing substantial. VWAP being primary target, leave a little bit for the dream, a runner, right? So to the individuals who are asking, oh, I leave too much profit on the table, well, welcome to the game of trading. It's going to happen, especially if you're looking for those bigger wins as well, too. So APLD, definitely the better trade of the morning. And then we're also in some Tesla via TSLL. Why? We got some indecision prints at the lows on the 5-minute. I zoom in, take a look at the 1-minute charts, and then sure enough, here it is. You get to experience a perfect hammer candle with kind of an outsized isolated volume signature. So we get a little bit of a bounce. Are we going to continue all the way back to the volume weighted average price? Only time will tell. And then this, sure enough, we have cracked this downtrend. So if we get the retest and the hold of it, maybe there's going to be an add opportunity, but you can see that the overall market is starting to come back in as well too. So APLD, TSLL, I'll bring up the chart before I send it back to my my guy in 1 second. So that was APLD, TSLL, and there it is. We're posted up at 15s. We're in at 04. So let's see if we can get another bounce. Are we looking for an add opportunity? Of course. But I don't know if this market sentiment is kind of leaning towards that. So patience, patience, patience. And if the buying pressure stays relatively cool, then there's no add there.
All right, Adira, is there any news on weed? Because MSOX is up 12.5%, and I can't find anything. So if you have a moment, pardon me?
I highly doubt it because lately it's been moving without news. That being said, I'm obviously going to look.
All right, thank you, Adira. Appreciate that. Yeah, you got some, it seems like it's the ETFs here that are making the move. You got SOS up 6%, SOX up 12.5%. But when you look at the equity names themselves, CGC 3, Grow Generation is down, Tilray only up 0.8. Cureleaf, though, is up almost 7%, CURLF. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But as you see here on my screen, this insane stock is absolutely going. It's ISPC. I sat down here and it was halted. It was halted at 115. Then I looked down for a second. It was halted at 135. I looked down for another 2 seconds. It was halted at 160. And I just asked Adira about weed, and now it's halted at 187.
No weed news.
Thank you, Adira. Appreciate that. We'll keep an eye out on that. But ISPC is the one right now. It's up 150%. It hasn't done that much volume for a dollar name. 34.5 million shares seems like a good number offhand. But when you look at the dollar stocks, typically they do a lot more. The point is, it's not staying open, okay? So you're going to have to be super quick with it. And every time, in fact, I'm looking at this one while it is halted, the theoretical auction price, the top right there on my screen, is always higher. I haven't seen it lower quite yet than the actual halt price. We're halted at $1.87. It's showing me a top of $193. Again, up 150%, but really having trouble staying open. What does this company do? I need to know, because there's obviously a tailwind for these companies that are adding crypto onto their balance sheet. Doesn't matter. WorldCoin, crap coin, it doesn't matter. People are buying it. So this is a tech company, critical challenge focused on connecting life science researchers, a specimen. Okay, let me look at the headline. Let me just make sure they didn't add crypto to their balance sheet. It doesn't look like they did. In fact, they don't even have a headline from yesterday, nothing from today. The only thing I'm seeing is the resumption and the pausing of volatility. So I have no idea why ISPC. That's a Solana one. Okay, I don't see it, Katina. Maybe it's a couple of weeks ago. So that makes absolute sense. You're right, Katina, man. From the 4th of September, here it is. iSpecimen shares trading higher after the company announced it advanced a $200 million Solana-based digital asset strategy. Why am I not surprised by that? No. These are the ones that are going in the way that the AI trades were going in 23 and 24. So this is what's in vogue right now. Anybody adding crypto onto their balance sheet is being met with an insane amount of buying. We saw it yesterday with Octo. We've seen it many times with BNMR, MSTR, obviously the OG of that whole strategy, but it doesn't matter. These are not investment vehicles that we're talking about. These are intraday trades of momentum that we want to take advantage of. So I'm going to keep my eye very firmly here on ISPC, Joey, because it's giving me 150%. Now, it's halted 1,005 times, and now the previous halt time is 11:06:22. It is now exactly 11:09:02. So at earliest, this will be open 1:11:22. It could be longer, as these 10-minute halts sometimes show up after we've halted a lot of times. So at least 5 minutes. We'll see if it ends up being a 10. But here's what I'm looking at, guys. It's not just the ISPC show, or maybe it is. I'm keeping my eye on PTNM. It's definitely not respecting VWAP. It's going to be a 10 EMA trade. If I take this trade, it's got a flat top possibly here at 5.25, 5.5. And then CWD's given up the ghost despite the fact that it's up 475%. I'm going to keep my eye on VERI as well. This is holding up real well. Coming into the 10 EMA on the 5 at 360, it's up 37.5%. VERI, the ticker. And then I'm going to also keep an eye on FCELL. You know, definitely not really one of my style small cap gappers, but trading like one today, up 20%. This reminds me all sorts of the pandemic because I was trading this all sorts in the pandemic. And then last but not least here, Joseph Options, we got KC, a bit more expensive of a name, $16 and change, trying to bull flag ahead of the 10 EMA, up about 14%. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on right now. Just before we send it back to you, your boy there, Howard in the chat, dropping cash, $5 super chat. Wall Street just found a new way to sell stale crypto to the public. Treasury plays. Howard, my man, you're not listing. These are intraday plays for intraday traders. We're in, we're out. We're not holding them overnight. We're not falling in love. We're not advocating them as good investment vehicles. We're intraday trading them. Joseph Options.
Yeah. No, I wanted to touch on this a little bit too because honestly, I like what Howard had to say.
All right.
But to add to your point, we are informed, right? We know that, hey, we're not holding these overnight, more or less intraday vehicles that you just mentioned. But I'm curious as to when is this going to be overdone? Is Wall Street going to flood the market with some of these ETFs, some of these treasuries? And then at what point is it going to start to cool off? And we've seen that in the likes of some of these Bitcoin ETFs as well, too. So we have the Grayscales, we have the BlackRocks, and then we have the ARK Invest as well, the Cathie Wood one, and then sure enough, you see a more popular one start to emerge, and I'm curious if that's going to be the case. I like what you had to say there, Howard, because at what point is everybody going to cool off and is like, hey, we don't really care about this anymore. We want to focus on the big names. Not saying that Solana isn't, but in the likes of Ethereum, we can throw Solana on there because I know some things may be tokenized on that blockchain as well too, and then also with Bitcoin. So it's just like, excuse me, don't overflood the market. But when some things are hot, it doesn't really matter because people are going to continuously buy them up. So there it is, guys. Tesla, we just got stopped out break even on this trade, and then it's starting to climb a little bit higher. So we'll keep an eye out on this. The market doesn't look too pretty to me right now. So you can see that the Q's starting to sell, but we have some indecision prints. Nothing from a volume standpoint says, hey, Joseph, start to buy up this overall market. So yeah, we're going to relax on that. Yeah, we're going to do it live as well, just to throw that in there as a bonus, I guess, at the end of the day. But there it is. This was the reload. So I was talking about a retest of the downtrend here, and then sure enough, you get it almost to the penny, and then now you're going to go test this key pivot at 13.15. As you can see, this is some key resistance levels, or at once was support, and now acting as key resistance. Now you're starting to see the volume really start to pick up, and look at this tape. Boom, as you're punching through, there it is. That's what you want to see. It's unfortunate that we didn't take advantage of it, but you can catch them all, and there it is. Reload opportunity. Now breaking through, pull back slightly too deep for your boy, but Tesla bouncing off the lows, making a really, really nice trade. So as for Ethereum, week today, I was like, all right, that's enough mental capital expenditure for me. So I unloaded about half of the position. For some reason, I'm just getting the hunch that we're going to break through some of these key support levels. Anything south of that, then hey, guess what? We're going to just pick up some more. So I wouldn't mind some. Or maybe I'll even buy some leading into the meeting next week, right? So if we get that, when we get that rate cut, boom, leading into that, there might be some good opportunities. I would like to see the liquidity grab before we head into that meeting and it decides to go parabolic, if it does. But again, you have to just take what the market is giving you from that point. But there, Tesla, adios, gone like the wind there, I guess. So it's unfortunate that we didn't get to take advantage of it, but guess what? There's going to be plenty more opportunities as the market is grinding back towards the volume-weighted average price. I did have my eyes on NVDA, but again, nothing overly appealing for me. I did like the daily for a potential swing as well too. So you can see that we're down just a little bit under 10%. Yeah, so closer to 11, and then we're starting to form some indecision prints south of some key support levels, which can, hey, can obviously indicate we might be intended for a potential bounce. And if not, then it is what it is. Your risk profile is defined around 162. This was going to be my target on the swing, so maybe we start allocating some, look for that bounce into that specific level, and then just get out, considering it is September, and we know the cyclical effects of the market. But yeah, Tesla, unfortunate, Sharif, we missed out on that one, but I'm sure there'll be another opportunity.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah. All right, VERI is losing the 10 EMA. It looks like it might be headed down to about 3 mid-40s. We'll keep tabs on that, and it also looks like it's going to be a 10-minute halt here for ISPC, as that bad boy still hasn't opened. I'm involved now in FCELL, looking for VWAP bounce, a couple of beak wetters, nothing really to write home about. But I want to look at a new IPO. Shout out to my man Nonsense there. I looked at this one super quick, Nonsense, but I was displeased with the volume. And yeah, it looks, I don't know, Nonsense, am I seeing this right on my chart? Because it's a 1 penny range. Let me know if I've got this right here, because I've got $9.99 to the high side and then $9.98 to the downside. Now, it may be obviously acting up because it's a new trade. This is called, oops, let me just load this up. Where is it again? TLNCU. There we go. So this company, what the hell is this company? Talon Capital Corp. It's done about 4 million shares, it says, but brother, I don't see the price action on this. Let me load it up on my trading screen over here, see if I get a different result from that. So TLNCU on the Nasdaq. TLNCU on the NQ. Yeah, brother, I'm seeing $9.99 to the high side, $9.98 to the downside. So this is a new one. Yes, a $225 million IPO, initial public offering. That was from yesterday. Talon Capital announces $225 million IPO, but it's done a penny worth of range. So it's not exactly for me at the moment, but thank you for pointing it out. It looks like everyone's saying it's a SPAC. I get why the bias would be a SPAC because it's right around $10. But it's saying here announcing a $225 million initial public offering. Whether or not that's de-SPAC'd yet. Oh my God, ISPC is halted to the upside. No, we're gonna catch this. Is halted to the upside again. Dude, I can't even, do a quick analysis without this thing halting to the upside. And now it's halted at $2.23. It's up 200 or almost 200%, 198.5%. The theoretical auction price is $2.30, $2.29. We'll see if this one's going to be another 10-minute halt or what the hell is up. But ISPC, all sorts of strong. Keep your eye out on this one. It's just not staying open. Adara has more news for us at the big desk.
Into this TLNCU, I know some people were wondering if this is a special acquisition situation. It is not. I can confirm that it is an IPO. I checked on the IPO calendar and I checked the news blurb on this. But yeah, so TLNCU is an IPO. It did, of course, just open quite recently earlier today. Offering here of 22.5 million units at $10 per share. They opened, it looks like slightly below that, around at $9.98, it looks like is where they ended up opening. Now I'm seeing apparently they're expecting their shares to be listed as TLNC. So a little bit unclear because the listing here is TLNCU, and when I tried to type in TLNC, it said it was invalid. So that is an odd detail. If I get any more news on it, I'll let you know. But either way, this is Talon Capital Corp. I have done a little bit more research into it. Now, apparently, the point of the company is to pursue mergers, acquisitions, or similar business combinations. So it looks like the point of the company is to maybe form a special acquisition company or merge with another company, but this is not a de-SPAC. Back to you.
Thank you for Dara. Yeah, that's exactly what I saw. It's $223 million IPO. You don't usually IPO if you're a SPAC. You de-SPAC, right? So you merge with, you take a private company private. That's the whole point of the SPAC game. So I didn't really understand that, but in any event, that's it right there. And obviously this isn't for me. It's got a penny range. I can totally see possibly, what are they called? Buyout traders trade this. You sit on the bid, then you post on the ask, and you essentially market make off your desk, right? That's not my move, and it's not, I don't think, conducive to the show. For us to trade these type of things. But thank you for pointing it out, brother, and keep bringing the IPOs to me. Just because I didn't like this one doesn't mean I won't like the next one. So please keep bringing them to my attention, and I do appreciate that. Taking some prints here to the high side. I took some into 504s on FCELL, but it looks like it might be rejecting the 10 EMA on the 5 as a level of resistance, and that's not the move I'm in for. So we're going to get out more here for basically a crappy winner, and just as long as it's not a loser. I got to tell you guys, other than ISPC, I'm liking nothing. Let's see, But a Biscuit Head is telling me to look at ZNB, sorry. Let's have a look there and see what's good with that one. Maybe it'll load here, Joey. Oh, that's a good looker. My man, But a Biscuit Head. You just won something there. I don't know what it is, but ZNB. Ooh, Joseph. All right, so let's load ZMB up on a trading screen. We're going to remove that hot garbage SBLX, ZMB, and Q. And this one's doing volume, baby. Oh, baby, this one's good. How come they oh, it did show up. I just didn't see it. All right, here we go. We're about to break 3. It's a good move here into that 290, to mid-90s. So double top at 295. VWAP below the $0.50, VWAP and the 10 EMA overlapping on the 5. It's probably right if I load up the 5-second chart on this thing so that I can kind of spot the areas of local resistance and support. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on now. As soon as this 5-second chart loads up, Joey, we're going to have a better read. Oh, now it did. Nice. Very nice. We're getting involved here. Let's weasel on in. We're not getting filled for whatever reason. It's going without us. So we tried to get filled there. No fill. Does it come back down and fill us? Here's 3. There is 3. The high of the day. We're zigging. We're zagging. I'm assuming some people are going to start taking profit at 3 or shorting at 3. One of the two. So we're going to get involved a little bit up here into 96s. There's 3. We're posting at above 3 at 301. Let's see if we get the ad. We do get the ad. So what's this area of support that I'm looking to pick it up at? Right down into 75. This is the area here that I like. Let's see if we can pick it up. We get it. So we got 83s. Joey, I'm just going to send it to you so I can post some orders.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Party P, man, let's talk about this. You say first week of October. I'm having a hard time. Like, I don't know. I refreshed everything. I don't know if this is real numbers because I'm extremely shocked. Would you pay for those? Because right now I'm seeing that those are only worth $1.70. What? That can't be right. Guys, I need you to confirm for me in the chat. But anyways, Party P, so we'll get to your question. Joey Ops, NVIDIA 180 calls. I'm in deep. Expiration October 1st week. Am I printing or filling out a job application at McDonald's? And so I said, party, man, party. Shout out to you anyways. We love Party P. But at the end of the day, so October 3rd, you have 24 days, you're 13 points. I don't know if you've bought them at the money or out the money, but I can give you the intrinsic, extrinsic spiel and the importance of just understanding what your objective is. The further out the money you buy your contracts, the longer dated you're going to want to give yourself in an expiration sense. Why? Because you need the underlying to start appreciating. So at that point, they're only extrinsically valuable. They only have time value. And then in order for them to gain intrinsic value, you need them to start trading within the money. So for you, in the coming weeks, you needed to start trading above 180 significantly quick. Otherwise, you're just going to lose the value of those contracts. So essentially, I'm curious of what your average price is, and if you're willing to hold on to them or just roll them over to a lower strike price in a further dated expiration cycle, which I think is the best bet. Sorry, Adair, 1 second. I bought a couple shares, just a handful of shares of NVDA at 180 for the earnings report, looking for a spike into 190. It didn't work out, and I just cut the position at 170 yesterday for a loss. So it is what it is. I think eventually it will obviously get there, but the more time, the merrier. Adara, what do you got for us?
Got it, Adara.
Yeah, what I have here is more info on this TLNCU. So I was saying that I was a bit confused because I was reading that TLNC was the ticker for this one rather than TLNCU. Well, that's because TLNCU is a unit of this company. So what does that mean? Well, each unit, according to their release, consists of one Class A ordinary share and then 1/3 of one redeemable warrant of the company. Now, if you have a whole warrant, that entitles the holder to purchase one Class A ordinary share at a price of $11.50 per share. So lots of stuff happening here. But again, just to recap, TLNCU is a unit, I guess, consisting of one share and then 1/3 of a warrant. That's the details there in TLNCU. If you have any other questions, we can go over this again if anyone needs. I guess you can just tag Sharif and Joe. Back to you.
Absolutely, they can always tag us, Adara.
You want to cover that?
Here we go. We got flattened on the break even there, Joey Options, and look where it's going. Very happy with the ZMB trade. Executed well. Could have done better. You can always do better. It's kind of like training. You can always have a better time, you can always lift more weight, or you can always rest less. And trading is always that way. You can always take more size, you can always have a better entry, or you can stay in for longer. There's always going to be room for improvement. Don't let anybody tell you any different, baby. So here we had 77s on this one, scalped up into 301. It had a lot of trouble with 3. The high of the day is 304. It's zigging, it's zagging. It came right into that volume weighted average price, rocketed all the way up. So I'm happy with how I traded ZNB, ZNB, but we're going to look to do a little bit better on it. I don't think this one's done quite yet, quite frankly. As I've mentioned, above the volume weighted average price, the 10 EMA is also below VWAP. So VWAP will not be my end all and be all on this trade because it is one of those anomalous situations where the volume weighted average price happened to ascend a little bit faster than the 10 EMA. And I'm fine with that. I'm just going to keep my eye on it. Doing it freaking live, sets up in the right way. We're going to look for that $3 break and take. And while we're waiting for that, let me tell you about this bad boy right here. We're doing it freaking live, Joey Options, on FCELL right now. We went the beak at 15. We still got a couple of more outs. I appreciate you, Joseph Options. We got a beautiful double bottom off the volume weighted average price. We added twice here. It's going to be hard for you to see, but there are actually 2 baby blue triangles there. So we had double the position we normally take, and up we go into 515. I'm waiting at 524 for a beak wetter. Why am I posted at 524? Random area, right? Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to get ahead of that high of the day at 530. I assume there's going to be some sellers up there. In addition to that, despite the fact that the high of the day is 532, take a gander at what we did at this 15 to 20 area before we got to 32. We rejected it right at 515. We wicked up into 21, but we quickly closed all the way down back into 5. So there is selling here, at my opinion, in the high teens to the low 20s. We'll see. We can shake those sellers. If not, yeah, we'll get stopped out, break even. But I'm looking at FCELL. I'm looking at ZNB. And then, obviously, I've been trying to look at ISP. It just doesn't.
It's halted again?
It's halted again, Joey.
That's crazy.
That's the way it is. It's open. Here we go.
Halted.
We're zigging. It's going to halt again. Unreal. Joseph, we're going to have to get involved in this. Let's see if we. I punched in at the high. I punched in at the high. Like a psycho. Like a psycho.
You got to be that guy sometime.
We're going to be that guy.
Man.
Like a psycho. Watch. Now it's going to be the first down halt. It's going to be the first down halt. I'm calling it down, Joseph.
There's no way.
It's going to be the first down halt. We're punching in.
It's halted.
It's halted, but it's gonna it's gonna open down now.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's gonna open down, guaranteed.
Hey, I have faith and I believe that it's gonna work out there. All right, Party Pete. We're gonna touch on this a little bit more here, all right? Because I like to talk. So essentially, here, what you gotta think about is one, you don't have time in your favor for the stock to move more than 13 points. So what can you do? I'm curious if you're gonna just hold those to expiration, how many you have. But if you're looking to mitigate that loss a little bit, what you can do is obviously just write some contracts a little bit north of that, whether it be the 185s and the 190s. I would go to a 1-to-1 hedge, or you can even go to more or less a ratio spread and go 2-to-1 or whatever you feel comfortable with. A ratio spread will still give you some topside benefit, but if you go with a 1-to-1 hedge, then essentially you're just going to be really, really capping your gains if it does decide to continue to climb higher. But if you're looking to mitigate, 185s. The 185s, 94, you're collecting $93. That's not too bad. And you sell a couple of them, mitigate some of that loss. And I'm curious as when you bought it. That's the most important stuff because you want to know what you paid for the contract. That's really, really key. But there it is, guys. Tesla right into the volume weighted average price. So that trade a little lackluster, but that's okay. APLD was our guy on the session. Right back up to the volume weighted average price as well, too. So keep an eye out on Applied Digital. Not something that we trade too often. So just keep that in mind. Okay, last Friday bought them for $119. Oh, okay, all right. So you're doing okay then. Don't worry about that. You might get somewhat of a bounce, but don't forget, 2 weeks out, theta really going to start to pick up. And considering you're buying these out the money, theta will really rapidly start to accelerate, and then day by day you'll just lose value of the contract alone to just decay. So keep that in mind. But other than that, I think you'll be okay. If you want to write some options against that position, that will work out pretty well for you as well too. So keep that in mind. TQs not doing anything. Let's take a look at some of the volume names. I had some. It was NBIS was on my watch list, but then that thing just decided to go tank mode and sell off. I'm not going to even try to pull up Mara on my charts here, Shreve, because we know that one doesn't work. So Soundhound, not too bad either. And then Robinhood, my guy Gorev is looking at that. We traded as high as $117.50, only about $2.50 off of the previous all-time high. Now starting to sell. But I don't like a lot of these overlapping candles in Robinhood, so we'll keep an eye out on this one. So I'm more precision right now. So yesterday I was just hanging around. It was a red day, and then I just stuck around, found a good opportunity, and we traded some NVDA, and that turned us from red to green, so thankful for that one. But here we go. Hood, not loving it today, Gorev. I know you got your eyes on that, but as for anything else, I think it's pretty quiet. APLD is really, really what I'm attracted to, but we missed the bottom on that one.
All right, man. Oh my goodness, come on, bro. Oh wow, I almost got trapped in that. That was crazy.
Ooh.
That was crazy right
Nomad
there.
in the chat.
False halt. False halt. Wow. Z and B is going all sorts of buck wild. So we're giving back. We gave it back on this one. So we'll have to make it back on somewhere else. So Z and B, we are negatory on this one now. Tried to get in at 240. We did scalp up initially into that 50 area, but the bottom absolutely dropped off. It lost VWAP. It lost the 10 EMA. So we're going to give back some on that. Hey, you win some, you lose some. Let's see if it's able to get back above that volume weighted average price. Now my focus is going to be here on ISPC, as the top is still looking the same, 261, and the halt time 27:02. So what time is it right now? It is 31:04. So we have to 32:02. That's the earliest that this can open up. ISPC 32:02, earliest it can open up. And now as I see it, ZNB looks like it's going to halt down back into that 190 area again. It's not doing the halt parameter, so we're going to let that one go. Let's have a look at FCELL. This one's still not printing at the $0.25. I'm weighted at 24s there. Nothing doing on that one. So we'll continue to watch here as we zig and zag with what's it called? FCELL. John Del Segno, UNH is parabolic. Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
I wonder how much, what's his name is printing on that. Did he sell it yet?
I think he sold it.
Did he actually?
Yeah, I think he sold some.
Yeah, UNH is absolutely breaking out through 336 right into 441. It's up 6 1/3%.
What's the day?
Hold on, let's look at this daily.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, he picked this up at 250, so he's almost $100 in the money. Well, it's okay, right?
I mean, I'll take that any day that we could.
Joey, we're going to hold down, of course. On this one, oh boy, here we go. We got to focus. We got to focus here, Joey. ISPC going to hold down for the first time into 46s. We're going to get caught in that halt, but I'm going to look to DCA into the $0.25. That's the prior area halt. Oh boy, that was lots of highs and then lots of lows. That's the way these small cap gappers work. We're going to work out of it, though. We're going to go to Adara. She's got the crypto segment.
Going to take a look here at a couple different crypto-related headlines and just interesting things of note right now. We're going to start with these two individuals. They are the Winklevoss twins, Cameron and Tyler. Not sure who's who here, but they are of note because their crypto exchange Gemini has reportedly secured investment or strategic backing from the Nasdaq. So we had Reuters reporting that the Nasdaq, or Nasdaq, I guess in general, not the Nasdaq, Nasdaq has agreed to purchase $50 million worth of shares in a private placement at the time that Gemini has its IPO. So again, Nasdaq reportedly a strategic backer for this Gemini IPO. We'll have to see how that ends up going, but interesting stuff there. What I want to talk about too is just the way that these crypto stocks are performing, because there used to be that all of these stocks would trade together and they'd all trade with Bitcoin. That is not necessarily the case anymore, and it hasn't been for a while. Coinbase, relatively strong on the day, but then you have Robinhood in a similar field to Coinbase near lows of day. Then you also have MSTR, which is more of a, I guess, crypto accumulation type play, sharply down on the day. So really interesting stuff here. Bitcoin, meanwhile, this is the hourly chart, pushing below or trying to get below this most recent support on the hourly chart around that 11,000 range. Previously, we were resisting here 13,000. So definitely a little bit range bound here. Let's see if we can hold at 11,000 as support. Make sure to like. Make sure to subscribe. And I guess if you're into crypto, we'll have to check out that Robinhood event tonight. It is actually after the bell and after the recap, but we'll definitely be covering any exciting updates for that for you on tomorrow's watch list and during tomorrow's show. Back to you.
Good stuff there. So yeah, as for Coinbase, I actually had this on my list. It's not looking too bad for a potential base right there around 292.74. And then also DoorDash, I was talking about this. Sure enough, oh, you dirty dog, it's starting to grind higher. Yeah, that's the one, right? So I'm just looking for similar setups here. RDT was the faster mover. Palantir, again, looking like it wants to break through some key resistance zones, so you might have an opportunity. But essentially what I'm getting at is here, can you see the similarities within these daily patterns and just looking for potential bounces? Okay, Dell Technologies, I like this even more now, so hopefully this base holds up. Nice stopping volume, and then you get that move all the way from 118 to 128, so that's positive. And the same thing here going on with Coinbase, considering it got hit heavy from peak to that local low, 33%, taking it right on the chin there, Sharif. And then here is NVDA. But yeah, coin looking pretty good, and Palantir starting to open up at the top end of the range. And I was talking with Gaurav and some people in the chat, is that I'm not looking for monster moves. It's like 3, 4, 5 points, and then you take your profit, you get out of there, sit on the cash once again, and wait for another opportunity to arise. So there it is. Those are some of the names that I have for potential bounces. Let's see if we get them. Ethereum. Oh, I'm really glad I let some of this go here, guys, as it's continuously selling on the intraday session. And if you look at it from a daily perspective, it looks like it wants to break. Let me know, does Ethereum break through this key support level, or does it bounce on that FOMC meeting? I think it does, but until then, we still have some sessions in between. So be patient and wait for this to get going. Other than that, guys, precision is the name of my game today. So sitting on the hands, and then when we find something, we're going to be ready to pounce.
All right, another one is weaseled on to the scene here. CDTG up about 74%, just broke through $1. The high of the day on this one is 101. I got out at 101 because it had a double top there and it dropped a little bit down. So now what I want to see, does it hold up at 85? Here comes 88. I like the 85 level for a buy. There was certainly resistance initially at 85. So let's see if it wants to end up acting as a level of support. Let's go ahead and wait. I'm going to wait at 87s just to kind of front run possibly that 85 dip. It's showing me 94s right now. It's all sorts of strong, about 14 million shares, and it really didn't do a whole lot of volume before 10 o'clock. This one really just made its way onto the scene right around 10 o'clock, but I'm still caught in that down halt on ISPC, and the tap now showing me 225. So the earliest this will open is 37, which should be right now. Let's look. It should be in about 8 seconds or so. So here we go, 32.18. It's now 37.15, so it should be 3 more seconds if it opens up at 5. And this one likely will be, geez, it's going to be a 10-minute halt. Oh, goodness, Joey. This is going to be some trouble. So we're going to keep an eye here on ISPC. This will likely be open then at 142.18. So keep that in mind if you're looking at trading ISPC. But I want to go back now to this one, CT. Oh, wow, no, we didn't get the ad. And there it goes. Oh, I caught right into my level. We didn't get the ad at 98. So that's kind of the, you win some, you lose some there. So we'll see if this one kind of really wants to get going to the high side and what we can do about this one, possibly into that maybe 115, 110 area. So we're going to be looking at getting in here on CTG into the highs if it can defend that dollar. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking to set up at the exact same area. It doesn't change the area of resistance and support. So CTG in focus for me, as well as FCELL. I'm involved with FCELL right now. I see it's coming back down into about 510 or so. That ain't the move for me. So if FCELL comes back into VWAP, we're going to get rid of this one. Now, CTG, we just took the first beak weather there at 8s. Let's see if this one wants to continue into 10s and 11s. That's where I'm waiting next, showing me 05, 6. There was a seller at 7 there initially, or sorry, 8s that we have to contend with. So I don't think we've cleared the dollar by a substantial amount enough to be able to use it as support. Got to wait for that one to clear maybe into the quarter dollar or something like that. Then we can start using that buck as at local support level. So I'm going to keep watching this one, Joey, looking for continuation into about that quarter dollar.
Good look there. So yeah, Ethereum selling. Riot is moving, and I try to pull up the old Mara chart, and it's not looking too good either, but Riot is trading higher there today. If you guys see this one up to 1442, breaking through the volume weighted average price and continuing its climb to the northeast. Now starting to pull back a little bit, but I mean, there you go. You get that opening drive nice and strong. You pull back through VWAP, you get the indecision prints, and then you make that second leg higher, punching through some of those previous highs, and then now you're starting to come back in. KWeb, not too bad either. I like this. So there it is. This is going to be the Internet ETF, China Internet ETF. And I like this print that we're experiencing, so maybe we'll get involved in this. And I'm just trying to go through some scanners. High volume is what I'm particularly looking for. And if we can find anything, yeah, doesn't want to pull that one up. There's Riot Tech, not familiar with this name. Nice indecision print at the lows. You get that bounce up into VWAP, but doesn't do too much. SPY, yeah, the overall market isn't looking overly pretty today, but as you get the break through some key support levels, you see the momentum and the velocity really start to pick up, and then you get those indecision prints, and then you grind back towards VWAP. I would suspect that, hey, maybe you get that move and test towards the low of the day, but I could be totally wrong on that front as well, too. So keep that in mind. XLF just going beast mode once again. After selling aggressively on Friday, starting to get a nice rebound, and then there you go. It's starting to kind of recover half of those losses. AMD, nice indecision prints at the lows. Maybe we'll add that one to the list as well, because that's what I'm looking for. And we're down over 20%. It did get that price reduction this morning. Now let's get back to our scan and see what we got going on. 5 minute, how are we looking? Not horrible, but multiple tests of these 154 highs and rejection. So AC Slater to that one. Yeah, it may not come back. But this is what I want to talk about here is CWD. I mean, I don't know anything about this company really, but it's just lost 81% of its value from those peaks. And if you're punching out up at the top, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news or a negative Nancy or anything along those lines, but I don't know, man. It's going to take some time. Anything can happen, obviously, but with these, it's just like, I don't know if they will ever get back to those levels anytime soon, right? Never say never, but at the end of the day, you're down 55% on this Octo from that previous high, $82 now trading at 36 bucks. That's why you don't punch and pray and grab some of these highs on this. You want to have a great average. So shout out to Bubbin for smashing that one with the $5 average and then locking in some profits, because you would be mad at yourself if it traded up to $84. You wake up the next day and it's trading at $40 or $36. For me, I would be, a lot of things would be broken for sure, and I would just be so frustrated with myself for not locking in profits. With that being said, I had that conversation with Gaurav this morning as well, just on, hey man, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table in this game. You better get used to it because it is what it is. But Adair, what do you got for us?
Just be aware here, UNH is on the move. I haven't seen any headlines on this. It got as high as it looks like 345s before pulling back all the way to right now around 342s. Still very much up on the day, up roughly 7% on the day. UNH, in case you guys missed it, does have ongoing, talks with investors and analysts happening starting on Monday all the way up until Wednesday. Again, I don't have any recent or breaking headlines on this, so that's why I haven't mentioned it, but I just want to let you guys know, because I know it is a stock on watch. United Health, still very much on the move. If I do see any news or headlines, I will keep you all apprised, of course. Back to you.
Got into alts. No. Yeah, it's okay, but I did well on CTG. I actually got into this one by design. So I got out at the high of the day on CDTG. We were in at 04s. We got out at 16s. Then the bottom dropped off, so I flattened out right at that 90 penny area. And I'm like, look, we're still above VWAP. We're still above the 10 EMA. So I punched back into this one, and the tap is showing me 90. So I did well on this. We'll hopefully do a little bit better on this halt, as it's still showing me exactly what I need to see, but I'm in all sorts of trouble right now with ISPC. I keep trying to throw in orders on this one, but I get distracted by other stocks, and this one we're going to be in some trouble on, Joey. So hopefully we'll be able to work out of this one on ISPC, as it's still at that $0.25, but it's still above the 10 EMA on the 5. So that's really all that I have to hope for at the moment. And it's not a good trade, and it's certainly not my best trade. But we'll execute a little bit better here on the CTG one. We have a lot more size in this one than we do in ISPC, which is okay. It doesn't make the ISPC trade right, though. Keeping my eye as well on, whatchamacallit, FCELL still dancing above that 10 EMA. In fact, it's got a 3-candle red setup right now on the 10 EMA, but it's still above that high, or sorry, above that level. It just needs to break above 20 for me to kind of get going on this one. That's where the resistance level I perceive is on FCELL. So that might not break until a little bit later as we get a bit more volume. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. What do you got, brother?
I got K-Web, man. We're rocking in some K-Web right now, Sharif. It's not looking too bad, right? So just the indecision print 5-minute candle right here. And sure enough, we're right below the volume weighted average price. Gaurav knows where to look for these prints. Oh, what happened right there? Okay, so you get a big move. Maybe that's just a breath, maybe? Or that's a genuine. Okay, that's not a genuine print. Good. So anyways, what I'm getting at, we're looking for these prints, highs, lows, the volume weighted average price, all right? So that's something key that we're looking out for. Again, obviously, what am I going to say? Sorry, Assassino, don't get mad at me. But there it is. Yeah, I got to stop. I got to make sure it lean. I just got to listen. You got to do what he says. Lean back. Lean back. Who sings that song again? My guy, Fat Joe. Fat Joe. Yeah, shout out to him. So yeah, that's what we got going on here. This is slowly starting to cook up. We get a retest. Hopefully the downtrend cracks, and that's going to give us an adding opportunity on K-Web. So yeah, patience. This is the trend that we're going to be referring to. Oh. We don't want that rig. We don't want that ray gun. Okay, headline. Okay, so we missed it there. Pop it up for us. We had a headline there for a second. Yeah, we missed it. If we can get it back up there, I think it said something along the lines about JD Vance. Okay, all right. So never mind. Yeah, we'll take that one back. But K-Web is the name of the game. Break that downtrend. We might be off to the races. If not, it cracks the low. We're only risking about 10 cents or so. Dara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, the headline was just, I guess we have JD Vance saying that BLS data has become useless. We know that Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-Derimer had said something fairly similar about how BLS data needs to be updated. Again, these comments are coming after that massive revision that we got this morning, the largest employment revision on record. So that was all the headline was there. I do want to talk here about Pinterest. I have no news on this, guys. PINS, there's not even really any social media attention on it. Last mention was 2 minutes ago, which is very rare for a stock moving in such a way. But either way, PINS on watch. And also, I wasn't really seeing this one on any of my calendars when it comes to any company events happening today either. That being said, if there is anything here, I will let you guys know. I'm not seeing anything, though. Back to you.
All right, so yeah, that's what K-Web. Man, I keep getting these text messages from my dental office saying that I have an appointment, but I didn't book any appointment. So it's just like, hey, what's going on here? Last time I went there, I went for the most simplistic thing, Sharif, a cleaning, and they're going in there. They're like, all right, yeah, so we're gonna fix this tooth, and that tooth. I'm like, yo, no, hold on here. I'm just here to get my teeth cleaned. I'm not in here for dental surgery. Like, I've been going through that too much. So anyways, enough of that. NVDA getting a bounce off of those lows, not looking too horrible. Nice indecision print. I wanted to get involved in this, but I didn't like the risk profile on this here specifically, 167 to 166. So that would have been $1, and I wasn't willing to risk that, especially if you're playing the crack of that high. So you're going to want to look for $2, which is going to put you all the way up here through some key pre-market resistance zones. And I'm like, I don't know if we get there. Obviously, if I knew, we would just go full force and everything, put the mortgage up and everything along those lines, but that's not the case. So we're sitting here in K-Web. What do you got going on? You're out of that hole?
I'm good, yeah. We got out of CDT. We actually took some profits on CTDG, but stopped out remaining for the rest as it did lose VWAP. So this one I didn't mind being in a halt in. I don't like being in the ISPC halt. Like, this is a mistake. This the CDTG was by design that I was in that halt. I like the price level. Initially, we popped up, but this one I made a mistake on. That's all good. We'll look to do it a little bit better next time. I'm involved in this one, though, VERI, if I can just load that up. We're involved in VERI at 58, looking for this one to continue above 60. It's having trouble selling at 60 over here. We've got a beak wetter through that level, but no continuation. I'm going to get out on current bar low, so we'll keep the stop tight there. Now, this one is going to be at another 10-minute halt, Joey. Oh, boy. So maybe I should do a market on or a limit on open order on this one just to get the hell out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure,
so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to send it to you for a second while I set that up, and then we'll take over.
All right, good stuff there, guys. I'm looking at Apple continuously selling. Like what I was just doing previously is just we go through a list of the names of some of the biggest volumes, and that's when we found this opportunity here in KWeb. Oh, okay, this is not good whatsoever. 1 minute time frame, big time volume print. If we crack through this low, then we're probably not in for a good time. But there it is, a nice. Okay, so we got to be patient. Not the most liquid thing. Don't micromanage, Joseph. And there we go. So we were at KWeb looking at some other names. SMCI, what are you up to? We want to head that one over to the 5 minute. Just so we can see what I'm getting at. Yeah, I think I'm done on this KWeb trade, considering the volume print that we've seen on the 1 minute time frame. Sharif got his Lou open. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I used the MU, the market on open, just to get the hell out of there on ISPC. So as soon as that one opens, hopefully we'll be out of it. Now I can focus more on VERI as well as FCELL, which is coming down into my area to get out. So I think I'm going to flatten out FCELL if it comes into 5. We're long at 96, but the volume weighted average price at 91. I don't want to take a VWAP bounce on this one with a lower high.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, Apple, you know, I was just saying, Apple really starting to take a nosedive here. Sorry, Sharif, go ahead. So there it is, breaking through some support levels right there, and momentum really starting to pick up. We zoom in, volume starting to increase as well too, guys, so just keep that in mind. Apple headed to the southeast.
Yes, sir. All right, so back to VERI, keeping my eye on that 60 seller that we've been putting on. Look, I didn't hit the best price on this one, but I wouldn't have bought it down here anyway at 40s, right? Best I would have bought it at was around 50 to 45. Let's see if we can continue. Here we go. We're showing 61. Let's see if we can squeeze up into that 62. The high of the day is 74. So I think VERI put in a good pattern, but I am worried that we get into that kind of flat top at around 70, maybe high 60s, and we're met with some selling to make a lower high. And that's always my concern when I pick it up off the volume weighted average price. So we end up getting that lower high. So we'll see exactly if we can kind of clear the 61 area and head on up, possibly to test that 75 penny area. ISPC still waiting for this one to open. So this will be open earliest, I think, 11:52:34. So I got 51 and change at the moment. I put a market on open order to kind of get me out of this one as soon as it does open up. So we'll keep tabs on that. Let me know if you guys are seeing any other small cap gappers making their way onto the scene. I don't have any new ones at the moment. If there are any that I've sort of glossed over or missed entirely, please tag myself or Joseph so that we kind of get notice of that. I'm just looking at my scanner up top to see if there are any new ones making their way onto the scene over here. Nothing really that's setting up in the right way. GHMS, what is this? How come? Yeah, okay. GHMS. Let's load this one up. Second over here, GHMS. We'll just take a look at that. That's the daily. That's not what we want. We want the 5. That's not the one. GMHS, excuse me. GMHS. All right, yeah, this is below VWAP. That's not going to cut it for me. Okay, this is much lower than the price level for my minimum. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to go to Dare at the Big Desk. She's got news.
Yeah, I'm seeing a really odd pattern here on X with regards to posts about Pinterest. Apparently, Pinterest is actually at the Goldman Communicopia and Tech Conference today. I wasn't seeing them on my schedule, but apparently they are there. I'm also, worth noting, not seeing any comments about what they're saying at this conference on Benzinga or social media, so unclear what it is that's dropping this to the downside. Very much likely something happening here with the conference, but I'm also noticing another odd trend that there are people posting the exact same, different users posting the exact same negative message about how they're selling Pinterest. Exact wording, at least 3 or 4 posts. So PINS, some really odd, repetitive, and again, exactly the same wording posts here about, oh, I have to sell Pinterest. I just sold Pinterest. I, quote, sold this turd after holding it for years to salvage the remaining cash. All these posts are saying the exact same thing. So unclear what that's about. Odd social media movement here. And also this Communicopia conference could potentially be impacting them as well. But again, I don't know what they're saying that's pushing it lower. Back to you.
Good luck there, Derek. Thank you for that. What do you got, Joey?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Oh, no, actually, no. Cancel that. Okay, yeah. Maybe not. Do it. Just do it. All right. So there it is. I'm waiting for this fill here on KWeb. Looks like the downtrend is going to crack. I got my eyes on BABA this morning. They ran into my scanner. I'll pull this up here 1 second. Alibaba Group. A lot going on with this company. So if it decides to catch a bounce here, we might be in pretty. So boom, there's Alibaba, and then you can see on the daily another gap up. But obviously, considering it's an ADR, you're at risk of that. But boom, 4 a.m. bright and early, you get that move up to from 142 up to 145. Hasn't really done much throughout the intraday session, other than the opening drive. Started to give a lot of that move back, but pre-market lows holding up relatively well, and that's going to be positive for our KWeb trade here. As some of the other names, there's a big spike in the overall market as well. Is Apple participating, or is it just living in its own world? Yeah, it is a little bit treat, but nothing substantial. Did we catch a fill on the KWeb? Not yet. So interesting stuff there. Oh yeah, we did. Okay, bang. Let's go. We're rocking and rolling now. We're waiting for this downtrend to be completely snapped. We sit on the backside of it with a 5-minute print, and then that could give us another add opportunity as well too, if we're going to go and test the potential highs of the day. So yeah, that's the name of this game. Boom, another pop. Open up above 39.89, then we might continue, and then I'm going to add into this and try to make it as large as we possibly can. Bang, and there we go, a nice pop up there in KWeb, so we're not going to complain about that. Just running through the scan, looking for some indecision prints. We spotted KWeb. That's looking pretty good at extreme highs, extreme lows, and around the volume weighted average price. Sorry, Rogello Concepcion, Jofias Opciones. Yes, gracias, mi amigo. So what else you guys looking at? Let me know. Check Apple signal. My guy says check on what time frame. You got to let me know the time frame, Gorev. I don't see anything on the 5 or the 1, and that's what I trade off of. So if I get into the other time frames, then I'm not really sticking to my game, right? I have a couple that I love to look at. Daily, 1 minute, 5 minute. That's it. Keep it nice and cool and simplistic, right? Kisses, as we like to say. CQs, nice bounce. I wonder if any news came into the overall market. With that being said, let's do a quick run of some of these mega cap names. What has Meta been up to on the intraday session? Oh, okay, bang, hammer candle, VWAP. We like the looks of that. Not too bad of a look there, Sharif. Yes, and then we got Softy. Let's see what Microsoft is up to. Nothing crazy. This thing is horribly illiquid in the pre-market, so not keeping my eye on that one. Amazon still hasn't made a new all-time high, so keeping our eyes on that. And then also, let's get one more goggles. Heading towards that high of the day. So if the market decides that it wants to bounce, let's see if these big names start to participate.
XHG is breaking out here, guys, into 209, breaking through 2. It's up 122%. Very strong. XHG really going. It's still dancing with that $2 psychological level, though. So I am a little bit hesitant to want to punch in at these highs. Let's see if this one pulls back, or if does it clear 2. Oh, wow, this one really cleared 2. Into 217 it goes. Can it hold 2 now? I mean, is the move to hold 2, or what's the situation? So let's see if we can get something up here into the 20s. Let's see if it can hold $2. This is kind of really, wow, that was crazy, Joseph. That came all the way down into $2. Wow, it's been tougher trading today, at least for me, on these small cap gappers. Let's see if it can hold that $2 area. So let's see over here. Let's give it to 194, and then we'll give it all the way down in here. If it loses $2, we're going to have to get out. So looking to post into that 210 area, as well as the mid-teens, popping up a little bit, showing a seller at 7, now into 9s. Can we gonna get continuation into the highs? The high is 17s at the moment. We're still dancing with that $2 area. Seller at 7 showing up again. Can we kind of clear that seller? The answer is no. 8 seller now. Moving, so you're getting basically a seller at every level. So let's wet the beak up here as we can kind of look to take a little bit of profit in the single teams just to de-risk. There's a buyer at 3 as well. Interesting look there. Buyer at 3, seller at 7. That seller 7 stepping in again, zigging and zagging. There we go. We cleared them all. There we go. Nice move up. into the highs. I still have something posted at 15, unprinted, 17 is the high. Watch out for the loss of 2 though. The loss of 2 gets me out of the trade quick as you like, but looking for continuation into the mid-teens. Let's see if this one can continue to go. I have to flatten out this trade over here as well on ISPC. I tried to catch that up halt. We'll see what this one does. It's still zigging and zagging with 2, Joey. This might be actually a good entry here on ISPC. ISPC looking to hold $2 and spike right back up. So there, right down into the low 90s it does. So good look on the flattening out there. Let's go back though to XHG, still showing me double digits, mid-teens, low teens. Here's 13 again. Can we clear 15? High day 17. I'm posted at 15. Nothing doing on that one. So we'll have to pack our patience. Anything below 2, Joey, I'm out.
All right, good stuff there. Yeah, so we're sitting in it, not looking too good. Rejection of that downtrend line here in KWEB, but again, our risk profile is defined. We're in it. We've added to this position, and if we crack 77, there you go. It's 10 cents lost there. So we're not going to cry home about that whatsoever. But Tesla really starting to get rolling. Looks like it wants to break up, and same with the likes of Palantir. So you can see we're starting to curl over. Oh my God, it's gone. That's insane. It's gone. I looked at this a couple minutes ago. Volume kicked in like a madman, and then sure enough, just breaks all the way to the top side. I don't know if this is a bull trip, OKCure. Look at the volume supporting this, right? This is some big time volume, and that's what we talk about. We want to follow it, and I brought you guys the list. Sure enough, we open at the top of the range, and then sure enough, bang, you get that move. So yeah, really good look on PLTR. Back to the intraday session. Right here, it looks like we might continue to climb higher through some key resistance zones. But guys, it's time for Adara and then Neil's lesson of the day.
The biggest economic data of the week is going to be coming a little bit later here. Wednesday and Thursday we'll be getting PPI and CPI respectively. But we got a print that the market seemed to have reacted to, though admittedly not right away. That would be, the revisions here for U.S. payrolls or non-farm payrolls for the period between April 2024 and March 2025. That revision here, negative 911,000. So that means that 911,000 jobs fewer were actually reported over that period. So interesting look here. It's actually the largest number in the history of this metric. So that's the largest revision reported in history. Interesting look. We don't have any other economic data on watch, though we will at 1 p.m. At the same time as this Apple event, we actually have White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt holding a press briefing. I'll be listening and covering the Apple event, but I'll also, if there's any headlines from the Caroline Leavitt press conference that come up, I will, of course, let you all know. One stock I want to mention, too, UNH has been really strong today. They do have, I guess, some talks here with analysts and investors on watch. Not sure what the chart isn't quite loading, but United Health up almost 7% right now. Apple, here's that event. It's going to be called the Awe Dropping event. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. If you want coverage of that event, definitely join us and stay tuned. Now, if you're thinking, how will the stock react? Well, I did a whole infographic series. You can check this out on X at TTV Research. This just looks at how the stock performed the week of the event and not the day of the event. But as you can see, these weekly performances have gotten a lot more compact in the last 5 years. We have not had a move above 2% to the upside or the downside. So interesting look again. Check that out on X at TTV Research. The other thing I found that was interesting is of these 18 events, exactly 9 of these weeks have closed red, 9 have closed green. So there's a 50-50 chance on how this goes for the week. We'll have to find out. Now, I also want to mention Oracle earnings after the bell. So are GameStop. Same with Synopsys, SNPS, and also Rubrik and AVAV. Check out all those earnings with Sean and myself with the market recap at 4 p.m. Busy day, but that's why we're here with you guys through the whole thing. In the meantime, Neil has the lesson of the day, so make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and listen up for that lesson. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you so much there, Dara. Look, this is going to be about... shout out to Fabian as well. We're just working on some stuff, making the screens look cool. CWD, Octo, the one Sharif is looking at, IS, whatever the heck it is. These crypto treasury plays, obviously they've been pretty volatile. But if you look at the hint that maybe something was going to be a little bit different when it came to when it came to that CWD, I think it was in the pre-market trading and its relative price action compared to Octo. So in my note this morning, I said it out loud and I put it in my note. This one feels like its high is going to be in the pre-market. And the reason why, when I was short, looked the other, and I tried to get a couple of shorts on CWD, is simply the manner in which this moved in the pre. So the first note is, this doesn't start to get going until about 7:30, right? And it's straight parabolic move up. It gives 2 to about 50 bucks in an hour and a half, right into the open. 2 to 50 bucks. At that point, like, you're already looking at that over 2,000% gain, and we're halfway to go to the open. If you converse that with the playbook here, because the playbook for this type of a move is only existent with Octo yesterday. Like, there's nothing else. This starts out and starts going about an hour earlier on volume, and it makes its initial peak was about a half an hour into the open, which is just about an hour later than the initial peak that got made in CWD. So if you look at the first gigantic pullback, it was running for about the same amount of time. But more importantly, it was the fact that it tries to sell at the open. Now, it doesn't work here, but it does try to sell significantly. It went $50 back into $30. So the selling came in after it made a high at 9:30, or just going into the open. So you had that recipe sort of set up. And on top of that, you also have to consider that whenever there is a stacked trade, it could be a buy off of a support level. Sometimes the stock bounces off like $10 one time, $10 a second time, then a third time. Whatever it might be, your expectation should be dropping each time, and the reason for that is obvious. If the pattern is holding multiple times, more people are involved the second, third, fourth, fifth time. More people are stacking the bid, trying to get long. More people are stopped out if it breaks down. More people are on the offer as it tries to go up, slowing the move. All of that's working against CWD, and knowing the pattern that it sold off pretty decently at the open, and the simple fact that you just simply don't see 5,000% very often, what Octo did. So it was just incredibly unlikely that anything repeating was going to be as big. Think back to HKD, think back to DWAC, think back to GameStop. Whatever followed it was never quite as big on a percentage basis. So when you have all of that working in to CWD going into that open when it's already peaked, the fact that it's off the high at that moment, there's almost nothing that is going to tell you, and if you looked at it yesterday on Octo, you almost needed it to break out the high. Like, it needed to prove that it could print higher to fulfill that pattern. Now, obviously, who's going to be able to predict it's going to fill into the entirety of the gap? Who knows? And then getting executed on this thing is a completely different story to the short side. But if you're long, it most certainly gave you the reason not to be chasing it at the open. And on top of that, it gave you a reason to look short, I think, in OCTO, which worked out well today. And the real thing that comes down to, everybody, is if you're looking at, say, Tesla, you have Tesla's price history to work off of. Months and months and years of data of trading it and how it moves off of levels and all that good stuff. This, you just have the runner that was like it the day before. And if that's all you have, you've got to pay attention to that pattern. Where was the moment where the big selling came in, and what did it look like? And if you see something like that happening in a similar time frame, maybe that's not the spot to chase it. So CWD, I thought it was relatively obvious to not catch that top and to be looking for shorts in the group after it started breaking down, because it gave you every indication that the move just started earlier and ended earlier, but the time frame of it was about the same from top to bottom as that OCTO. And I'm willing to extend it to, if I see another one like this tomorrow, let's just say, I'll think it'll move even less before it pulls back. These things they're good for a short time period, but they're not usually good for a long time. You make your profit and run, read the signs. It's no different than the IPO trade as well. It seems like each one you get more excited. That's not necessarily the case that it's going to be bigger and better. Lots of money to be made, but you've got to temper your expectations and make sure you follow the game plan for the only data that you have, which would have been Octo yesterday. And yeah, maybe this thing's made a bit of a bottom in here at $11. I don't know. I mean, people I'm sure are taking shots at it still. It's giving you scalp trades. That's probably what you should take. There's your lesson of the day, everybody. And man, what the heck is going on with Palantir?
All right, baby. Yeah. I like it. All right. Couple of updates. So XHG was really good, and then it wasn't. So we'll stay profitable on this one, but it did drop off. And this one, much like many of the others that we've traded on the day, is also halted to the downside at $1.58, top showing 153. We were able to dance with this one. We were able to get that $1.75, a nice, decent move into 2. Then I had to flatten out here as it was coming back down. You could just tell it was going to lose prior bar low. And as soon as it lost prior bar low, I got the hell out. So, yeah, XHG halted to the downside, still up 68%, but looks like it may be holding on for dear life here. It's below VWAP, but at or around the 10 EMA. So trade that one carefully. FCELL continues to do all right. I haven't added into this position. It looks like it found some support at the 20, EMA on the 5. However, that's the good side of the equation. The bad side is it's having trouble breaking through 20. So that's also in focus. VERI as well. We took a couple of beak wetters there, but it feels like VERI has a resistance level at 60. That I kind of didn't spot initially. I felt that the resistance level was going to be that $0.75. It feels like it's 60. We rejected 60 initially when I got in. We're rejecting 60 again. And I mean 60-ish, right? Like it popped up into 62 there, so we got the print. That's the bad side. The good side is it's accumulating higher lows for a possible flat top breakthrough 60. Now, this one is not doing a whole lot of volume. I mean, we've only done about 12.75 million shares on the day, and this thing's been trading since right at 9:30. In fact, it was actually trading before that. It really got going at around 7 a.m. So it was doing plenty of volume in the pre-market. Not plenty of volume. It did volume in the pre-market, not all that much. It was more of a 9:30 spike right off the bell, and it popped up into that 374. So it feels like it may be accumulating higher lows, but hard to tell at this point. Let's go back to FCELL over here as it works its way back into that 20 penny level, showing 18s now on the ask. Let's see if it can get above 20 pennies and then try to test that third of a dollar on the day. So that's all I got right now, Joey. Options, CDTG breaking down below VWAP. XHG halted down. ISPC, I'm banned from trading because I traded it so poorly. And then ZNB also lost VWAP as well. So many of the ones that we were initially hyped up about to start the show have given up the ghost, so to speak, breaking down below technical levels. So we'll have to keep an eye on any new entrants that weasel their way onto the scene. Again, if you know of any or if you spot any, it's hard for me to do all that at once. So please let me know that these ones are moving. I see another one over here, a lot more expensive than the ones I typically trade in. It's a halt fest. It goes by the ticker QMMM. So we're going to take off this one here. We're going to put on QMMM. But, you know, I'm unlikely to weasel into this price and the lack of staying open. So all these dashes right here, you see these dashes right there, right there, right there, all these dashes up and down, those are times where there was no trading. So essentially halts. It's halted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and we're in our 18th halt right now. So yeah, this one is all sorts of crazy. Unlikely for me to pull the trigger on this one because of the danger and the lack of staying open. All right, Ben Fishin, love the name. Shout out to the $20 super chat. Love the show. Thanks for bringing it every day. Any thoughts on Wexit? What will outperform? You want to look at that, Joey? WEXIT?
I don't even think that's a real thing, to be honest with you. I just typed it in to see how double check.
Maybe WEXT? Or is there anything like that?
No.
No, eh? All right, Ben Fishin, just tag myself or Joseph in the chat. Let us know. You don't have to super chat again, brother.
No,
just tag myself or Joe in the chat, and we'll look at it for you. Absolutely be willing to do that, of course. And thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, AD33, Sharif needs to be earlier in the day. Since the time we see his trades, they are already skyrocketed. Look, brother, these ones really have the majority of their move in the pre-market, but that's not when I trade. I trade these during the day, so I need to acclimate my style to the midday trade for these small cap gappers. And, you know, it's a work in progress. Some days are going to be better than others. Today, not so good. Yesterday started out really bad, and then we ended up doing really well. So I'm not saying that that's going to be the same pattern today, but it's just not going to influence my thinking. If I see a trade that's good to go, I'm going to punch into it. So if that means adding more L's because it ends up being an L, ends up being an L.
That's just the way it is, man. Get used to taking the L's in this jungle here, guys. Yeah, I think Bob the Dog says he means when is Canada exiting the West? I don't know, brother. I'm not even going to answer that whatsoever. But only thing that we're stepping up on right now is K-Web. Let's go. Yeah, Gaurav, just going through the scans, brother, and we've seen this print on the 5-minute here on K-Web. Right there, and we're like, all right, let's get involved in this name, considering why, right? All right, so let's break it down a little bit. Why? As Diego always says that. I always do that. I don't know why.
What is this? I think we have another IPO, Joey.
Okay. Did it open just now?
Yeah.
All right, what is the ticker there?
ZGM.
ZGM?
Yeah, IPO, I believe.
Tomato, man. Tomato. Oh, no,
It is.
Yeah,
Here
it is. Yeah. Ooh,
1.5 million share float, guys. IPO price of $4. Sorry, Joseph Options. We're just going to switch to the 1 minute over here. So this thing opened up at 435, high day 451. It's dropping down into 360. New IPO, ZGM Zenta Group. Don't know what they do. They're a holding company they provide business consultation services, engage in the provision of industrial park consultation, business investment consultation, as well as others, Joseph. So already below the IPO price.
Good luck. So yeah, there it is. We're going to post up here on K-Web, see if we can catch a fill right at 92s. We were trading that. All we need is the bid now to hit that offer, and then sure enough, bang, we're rocking and rolling, taking some out, only 20% or so. Long, okay, Jag, you're long. You might be okay, right? Like, you just do your basic TAs. Oh, no, don't do that to me, K-Web.
What happened, Joey?
It's starting to sell, and it didn't give me an order fill.
Crazy.
Let's post a little.
Order completed.
Oh, yeah.
Order filled.
Order filled. Order complete.
Anybody know who that's from in the chat? If you guys know, then you guys are real.
Data connection lost.
No. Don't give it.
I never said I said data connection lost.
Okay. You're giving it more.
Data connection reestablished.
There you go. Oh, now they definitely know. Look at that. There we go. Right away. Straight to jail. They knew immediately.
Boom. There we go.
I love it. You guys are real OGs, baby.
Yeah, let's go. Don't ever say that again, Dutch Cuts. Or sorry,
what happened?
Krajnik.
What happened?
Krajnik, don't ever say that again.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I personally don't feel any sort of way about it, Joey Options. It's not like I own the play.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? But it wouldn't be a bad idea, too. So for all
everybody gets it.
They're real.
They're real. I love it. Everybody gets it, bro. Look at that.
We got the realest of the real in here.
Absolutely.
Order connection lost.
Joseph Options.
Okay, I got
hold on.
You got something? You got something? Yeah, all right. Okay, Web. We're taking another little piece out there. Why didn't I add? I don't know. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Get away with that stuff. Get that garbage out of here. As my guy Jack Armstrong. You know Jack Armstrong, right?
Remind me.
Neil knows who he is. Get that garbage out of here.
Oh, yeah. The Raptors.
Yeah, get that garbage out of here, man. Come on. There we go. K-Web, not
really
garbage
like
today.
Basketball, though, bro.
You don't?
No, I was never good at it. Never had an affinity for it, so I didn't really end up watching it.
You know what? To be honest with you, out of all the major sports, I think it's the most entertaining.
Okay.
But again, yeah, I'm not like a basketball fanatic or anything along those lines. To be honest with you,
I just sucked at it. That's why I didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, you probably didn't. If you
I did. That was a good joke.
Oh, yeah? All right. What was it? The jumper you struggled with?
Shooting no good. Yeah,
That's
nothing.
crazy.
I got ups.
You got
great ups,
eh?
but it's just that's not the move.
I had a brief period in my life where I played basketball in grade 8 because they didn't have cuts, and they should make cuts on teams, was what I learned from that. Because you are relatively tall does not mean you will save yourself from getting basketballs thrown at your head by your teammates.
Did they do that?
Oh, yeah, that happened to me. That's a real anecdote.
Was it purposeful, Adara?
Oh, very much so. But you know what?
Assault charges straight to jail.
This is why you need to have cuts on teams. Coaches everywhere, just listen.
Okay. Yeah, my cousin's
giving you the real deal.
My cousin's like 6'3", and I would wash him in ball, and I'm not even good. I'm not standing here saying I'm good, but I used to have a little Jimmy back in the day. That's all. Nothing crazy. And my cousin's 6'3", and I'd eat his lunch. That's for sure.
Oh.
Yeah. Tell him that for free.
Is he a big dude?
Yeah, he's 6'3".
Yeah.
Hey,
Like,
no, he's like lanky. No, he's more or less lanky. So shout out.
I was gonna record it.
No, that's fine. You can hear it. You can hear whatever.
If it's not a big deal,
that's my guy, man. For forever and always. All right, let's do it.
All right, Joseph Options. Guess what, baby? Beta Pro by Global X is bringing it back to its annual biggest winners simulated ETF trading competition. Now with over $40,000 in cash prizes, including a $20,000 grand prize, all risk-free, guys. It's free to enter and open to all Canadians. Trade with $100,000 in fantasy cash on Webull platform. Whether you're an experienced trader or just getting started, it's a chance to test strategies, build your skills, and climb the leaderboard. So, if you think you have what it takes to be the next biggest winner, sign up today, baby. Scan that QR code on the screen or click the link in the description. It's open up to Canadian individuals, but I think, an opportunity to win 20 grand. I mean, does it exclude people that they advertise with that work for companies? Because I might throw my hat into that. That's 20K, baby.
You may as well just
punch into Octo, take it all.
Dude, you won instantly, right? Like right away, Adara. What do you got?
Yeah, this QMMM is looking pretty good here. QMMM, I can find no details on this in terms of the float or short float. They do have a market cap of about $375 million is what I'm seeing. But this morning they announced they too are entering the crypto sector with a $100 million treasury plan. So another crypto treasury play, QMMM. Back to you.
Neil, when they're in vogue, they're in vogue. Here is the headline, and you saw the headline on Adara's chart, Assassino. Let's show them now the price action right there. So QMMM holding, expanding into Bitcoin blockchain AI solutions, and there it is. Halted 3109. We brought this to you guys a moment ago. It's awfully expensive. It was about $26, 25 and change, 25 when we brought it to you. It is now 3109. The top is a little bit lower though. So we're halted at 3109. Joey options at 12:16:19. That's the time of the halt. But when you look at that area right there, it says 28.31. So we're already slated to open about $1.50 lower. Trade these carefully.
Yeah, I mean, I'm following Neil's. Oh, come on, because it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous here, baby, in my opinion. And then look at the actual underlying assets. They're hot garbage. Everything else is ripping, but the actual asset itself is selling off. I don't know how much sense that makes to me personally. It's bizarre stuff, but hey, enjoy it while it lasts, because not everything here, as Shreeflex is saying, it's not always here for a long time, maybe just a good time, but things can most definitely change. I think there's a handful of them that are going to come out on top, but don't get too carried away with some of that stuff. Okay, Jag, TQs, watch out. I might hop in the short on TQs right here. Nice inverted hammer above the volume weighted average price. I'm really liking this. All out of, oh, whoa, okay. Maybe not.
What, you want me to take over?
No, that's okay. Sure. Maybe, please.
Yeah, okay, so I'm continuing to watch QMMM over here, and the top is dropping substantially. It's dropped another $3 since we spoke last. In fact, more. It just showed me a 24 print there awfully quick. It's showing me 22 now, 22.29. That's almost $10 lower than the halt price. Oh, baby. Yeah, it is a volatile one today, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's showing 20, 21, $11 below the top. Again, 12, 16, 19. Halts come in waves of 5 minutes. It's 12:21, 49. So the earliest this would have opened is, 12:21, 19. That didn't happen. So the earliest it will now open is 12:26, 19. That would be 10 minutes into the halt. Let's keep an eye out on this one. We're going to report to you on it. Again, this is kind of what just the market does, right? If there's a whole bunch of companies that starting to add crypto to their balance sheet and the market trades them in this way, it's going to be once, twice, he is the one thrice. It's going to keep going and going until it dries up. So if you're into, riding the trends, so to speak, and taking advantage of these, then these are the ones that are in vogue right now. I remember a very similar trade with crypto. I remember a very similar trade with AI, SPACs as well in the summer of 2021. EV stocks in the summer of 2021. That's what was in vogue. Anybody that was going to weasel in or throw in into their name AI or say that they were going to include AI in 23, that same thing happened to them. That's just what the market does, Joey Options. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Also, I wanted to point out here ISPC. I'm banned from trading this, which is fine. I banned myself, but I just want to let you guys know that it is at the volume weighted average price, but it looks like it will break down. So VWAP right around that $1.50. It's also pretty much at that $1.50, $1.41. It looks like it's going to halt down here. It's halted down again at that $1.41. So keep an eye out on that. Make us rich again, says Ozan. I got to make myself rich first, Ozan, before I start looking at anybody else. No, but I'm playing. Appreciate you. And we'll have the e-signal ad read very soon. Don't worry about it. Yes. Jag D, look at IMG. Let's have a look at IMG for the OG Jag. Let's go. IMG. What do we got here? Oh, good looker, Jag. But, you know, we're still super south of $1 on this one, 34 pennies. But the chart pattern's fantastic. It's up 55%. Good look, man. I mean, you know, maybe we'll end up trading one of these because there's not a whole lot going on that's great right now. So I'm just going to throw it up on the side chart begrudgingly, to be honest, because I try to stay away from the ones that are substantially below $1. I'll mull that over as Joey tells you about this.
All right, guys. Beta Pro. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, hold on.
That's
here.
crazy.
That's
trade
crazy.
the pool, baby.
That is trade the pool.
Hey, you're doing
Every
it live,
trader
Joey.
knows that if you want to grow, you have to risk more. At least that's how it used to be. Trade the pool is changing that. It's the new revolution in stock trading. You don't need a large deposit. Trade the pool is built for any trader who wants to grow without putting everything on the line. Just a small skin in the game, and you're trading with real capital. Here's how it works. You pay a one-time evaluation fee starting at $47. That's your total risk.
Okay.
From there, you trade real shares, no CFDs, using company capital. Head to tradethepool.com or scan the QR code on the screen.
Scan it, Joey.
Scan it, and see what's going on there. So yeah, I knew I shouldn't have got out there on K-Web. It just goes right back towards that high. But oh well, we'll take this trade. We enter, then we get into full size, we piece it out, and then we just take off our last little bit. And then also, as for Tesla, I'm keeping my eyes on this TSLL. Again, slight missed opportunity, but you have to be accepting of what you take. If you hop out of the trade, before you do so, be like, are you willing to accept either one, the loss, or two, the profit never mind, you accept the loss. Always accept the loss, but as for profit taking, ask yourself, are you willing to accept what you have now with the chances of it climbing higher and also you losing those unrealized gains? And with that being said, I'm like, all right, we'll take this. And then we get stopped out. And then sure enough, you can see Tesla goes north of our primary target right there. So yeah, again, you just got to sit there and just being accepting of the fact that you made the decision and you've made the choice, no one else. Whether it be someone in your ear, you still have to push the buttons at the end of the day. So Apple's hot garbage today, Gorev, man. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Past couple of sessions, it's kind of been trading like this. So yeah, not overly in play. And then yesterday, never mind. So the first hour of the day, sure enough, up until 11:30, first couple hours, I should say, and then sure enough, you crack through some of the key support levels, and then you just move with this waterfall type price action towards the downside. You get somewhat of a bounce, and then by the end of the session, you do get back into the volume weighted average price. But at the end of the day, boom, again, another choppy one from Apple. It's given signals at the lows, but gets beaten down again. Yeah, and like with that said, right, like you got to give it an X amount of attempts, and then after that, you just got to be like, all right, the stock is not doing what I anticipated it to, and that's probably one of the hardest skills to kind of just hone in on and kind of perfect, is just that, like, hey, it's not doing what I want. The chances of it doing what I want are still there, but I've taken my stabs, I've took my shots, I've struck out. Now let's find something else and move on. But speaking of Palantir, and to the individual, obviously, not to point people out, but it's just like, okay, you call it a bear trap, or bull trap, sorry, I get that. But then you also want to keep an eye on the volume profile. And I'm like, I don't know. This is substantially larger than what you're experiencing for the majority of the session. So sure enough, that's why you want to start following it. So you get these pullbacks, look to participate to the top side. Are you going to chase it all the way up here? Me personally, no. But from a daily standpoint, you can see that we're breaking through. And this is what I was talking about when I was going through some of the alerts that I have set up, is that, hey, Palantir has the volume print. This is what we want. This is A+, right? So when we're looking at key setups, this is A++. Why? Because we have this inverted hammer at south of 15% from that peak. And then you also have the isolated volume signature as well, too. So essentially, if you just have the ability to accumulate within this phase, and then sure enough, you get a nice pop. And if you get the lower average, then you're really off to the races. You're not going to get the best price of all time, but yeah, nonsense cool. All right, yeah, just because I'll take a look at it to see what we got going on. But again, yeah.
What's wrong, Joseph Options?
Nothing. I keep it.
I was
keep it
busting
to
some
myself.
Mandarin back there. You didn't see me,
I didn't
bro.
hear, I didn't hear
with
you.
Michael and
right,
Chow.
cool. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Damn. All right. Yeah. 6 stock here, real liquid, and continuing to move higher. So yeah, really good one there. Thanks for pointing that one out. There, no nonsense. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, bro, you don't. Anyways, so yeah, Apple not doing too much. iBit, it is putting in a nice hammer candle at the lows, but do we want to get involved in this waterfall type price action when the overall market is back at VWAP, and then we have these crypto names? The treasuries are running, but the actual assets themselves aren't doing anything. And the same with the likes of ETHA. Again, I don't even want to look at this name because I don't believe we're going to get a bounce in it. You go out to the daily, and sure enough, you're at the lower end of the range. So for this, don't love it, right? So, yeah, that's what I got going on, Shreve. We're all out of K-Web. That one worked out for us. TSLL worked out for us, and APLD was definitely our better trade of the day.
Hey, thanks, Steve. I appreciate the nice comments there from your brother. QMMM halted to the high side again, baby, into 30.36. Now the top showing 31.28. The high is 31.09. So it's actually going to take out the high if we continue on in this way. I looked at it. It was going through the halt parameters as I sat down. That, you know, I got caught in a couple of halts today. Who wants to be caught in a third? So we're going to have to trade a little bit more carefully on the day. Let's see if this one can take out the levels. But it's awfully spready anyway. I mean, it's about like a 30, 40 penny spread at the best of times. And, you know, sometimes it tightens up a little bit there at these levels, but we'll keep an eye on that. I'm not going to trade these ones. We're going to continue to monitor the ones we're currently in. FCELL to the high side as well as VERI. Looking for VERI to take out that 60 penny level. And I'm made optimistic again. Same thing I said last time. It's accumulating with higher lows with that flat top at 60. So I feel like it's only a matter of time until we get that volume spike into that $0.75 area. Now, whether or not there's bamboozlement on the way to that $0.75 area, for example, if we dip down, take out the $0.50, maybe even take out a prior area low at 340. Yeah, really, it's impossible to tell. So we'll keep tabs on that and let you guys know what is up. IMG as well, continuing to go here at the volume weighted average price. This is a 30 penny name. It's got a couple of bottoming tail hammer candles into 29 as it continues to kind of defend that 30 penny area. It's right at the volume weighted average price. It's not really clearing it nor dropping below it. 2 candles of indecision. Indecision preceded the current candle. Both doji candles with longer upper and lower wicks. So if this one can make possibly a move above 32, then we'll get involved. Otherwise, I just think that this one is a bit of a tougher trade. KC, though, going nicely here. Shout out to KC. It's not the biggest mover, but it is stair-stepping up incrementally. Great move down into that 15 4/5. And here we are taking out 16, about to take out 16.10. Keep your eye on that one. It's up about 14%, a little bit less, actually. Not really a big mover, so you may have to pack your patience in the same way that I'm kind of packing my patience with VERI. But FCELL keeps finding support at the 20 exponential moving average on the 5 and keeps putting in higher lows. Where's my FCELL chart? Let's have a look there. Yeah, so higher lows on every incremental descent, but we're also getting lower highs. So we're getting that compression pattern off the volume weighted average price. Now, if you listen to the textbooks, you know that the compression pattern typically resolves in the direction of the trend, but we'll have to see if FCELL can continue to go. I don't really want to punch in here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a dip trade into 5s or 7s. If I can get 5s or 7s, that won't screw up my cost basis by all that much. So I think I'll do that. on FCELL if it does come back into that level. That's all I've got right now, guys. I mean, there's not really a whole lot going on in the market. Let me have a look at the scanner to see what's moving at the highs at the moment. Nothing really doing. Most of these things are off the highs. So again, if you see any new small cap gappers, bring them to my attention, guys. Otherwise, we'll just continue to watch the trades that we're currently in. In fact, IMG is losing that volume weighted average price. Sorry, where's my IMG? There it is. It just lost it quite aggressively down into the 10 EMA. So this one, yeah, a bit of a Christmas tree retracement. Up we go, and then down we go again. This one got into about 35 pennies. It's now back down into 28. So a bit of a tougher look for this one as well. A lot of them giving it back today, Joey.
Yeah, good look there. I want to get involved in Bitcoin, but the space is just really, really weak. Again, so this is IBIT on the 1 minute. We can zoom out to the 5 and see what we got going on. But this hammer candle has me slightly intrigued. But the thing is, I'm looking at Ethereum. Obviously, don't want to necessarily compare the two, but if they want to continuously bleed, and if we look at it from a daily perspective, then it's just, it may not be there. But again, God, a shooter's got to shoot, man, at the end of the day. So I'm going to wait for a little bit, see if we can get the lower end of the range, and maybe we'll look to take a trade off of that one. Stung me big, too many shares, my fault. Yeah, nonsense. Yeah, sorry to hear about that, but again, we want to be too apologetic, right? We want to just learn from those mistakes and try to come back the next day and be a little bit better, man. Obviously, it sucks losing that amount of money. I have in a long-term trade. It's actually my biggest loss ever on Aurora Cannabis. So hopefully we get that one back to 1,300, and then we can just be all happy and giddy again. But yeah, you don't want to be just going gung-ho on some shares and keep that risk in check, right? Because like today, so it's like today you're having a great day, but then yesterday, it's just like, oh, you decided to take an outsized loss, and it doesn't kind of balance your win to your risk to reward ratio, right? So just keep that in mind. You want to keep that profit factor always positive, okay? So IBIT, it is getting somewhat of a bounce. I mean, there it is, brother. Like here it is. So QM Holdings, not too bad. We're not going to complain about this. That's a big time move. That's 300% off of those lows. That's insane. There's just big time liquidity issues on that one, and I don't think we will be trading that over here. So keep that in mind. Ethereum starting to bounce off of the lows. TQ still doing the same thing. I would love to short it, but then it's so dangerous to do so. Considering where Apple's sitting at from an intraday perspective, if it decides that it wants to curl around and start bouncing, it will drag the Qs up with it, most definitely. And then we could just do some more basic TA. Our trend line, lots of selling pressure at the top end of the trend line. So keep an eye out on that one. Google short here. Let's take a look at goggles. Man, see, that's the thing. It's too much going for Google right now for me personally to say, like, yeah, short this thing. I would not be doing that. Excuse me. And you can see from a daily, do you really want like a massive gap up, obviously, on the news? And then sure enough, you're just continuously grinding higher. And there's nothing from a daily technical standpoint that says, hey, we're ready to short. This is a little topping tail candle, but there's no volume supporting that. So just avoid that thing. It can move lower, but I wouldn't want to be shorting one of the strongest names in the market right now. QMMM
halted again, baby. 34.38 this time. It's up over 205%. It spent no time open. So the only way that you're really going to get in is if you punched in at the highs. Because I was watching this in real time. It was halted, I think, at, opened up at 31. It was halted at, 30.36. Ended up opening up at 31.25. It didn't even budge. It just went straight to 34.38. So you could get in, but you're going to be punching in at the highs. Now, the top may reward you for doing that, at least for the moment. It's up to about 36, 39, 35, 75 now, zigging and zagging. So not a bad look for QM, just really dangerous given the price, given the volatility, given what it did before, especially at that halt that it had initially over here. I want to say that was 31.25. It dropped down from 31.25 all the way down to 23.5. So that's the kind of thing that you can suffer from on one like this. Finally, VERI takes out 60. Now printed 64. I'm waiting at 65. And we've got good shares on this one, so hopefully we'll take some prints to the high side. Let's go ahead and set up at 69. We'll see if this one wants to continue and test that high a day, which is 74. It really did feel like VERI was accumulating for that breakout, though. What's operative to me is the higher lows, right? You get in at that 34 and 0.4, and then you have a buyer here at 53, and then you have a buyer at 60. So we'll see if there's bamboozlement here on VERI, but it's stair-stepping up quite nicely. Also, I want to bring your attention to one that we traded a little bit earlier. That's not Q-Trip, that's not the one. Let's talk about CDTG. We were involved in this one to no end earlier, and it is back, baby. It's back above $1, still not at that 116 high. But as you can see, the closing prints had a whole lot of trouble staying above $1. I mean, this closing print up here, 98. This one is 101, and the current one we're at is 101. So we're really talking about, you know, minutia here, closing above the dollar by 1 penny. All the other price spikes above that dollar were all wicks, so we know that there is trouble with that dollar area. So let's continue to watch CDTG halted at 138.40, 138.58. It's now 1234.58 is now 1238 and change. Good look here for VERI as we continue to move up. Printed 65, printed 66 now. We're waiting at 69, and then we're going to wait near the high of the day on this bad boy. So everybody's talking about UNH, man. Everybody and their mother is talking about UNH. Let's pull this up, Joseph Options, because everybody yelling about it like that. We got to take a look. So UNH is what, on the Nasdaq or the NYSE? It's on the NYSE, isn't it, Joseph?
Yeah, I believe
it's on the NYSE?
Yeah,
it is. This thing is really going 8% and going. UNH is all sorts of strong, baby. They have their annual investor conference from the 8th to the 10th. So today, the midday there ends there tomorrow, Joey. And I guess investors like what they're hearing out of that because this is all sorts of crazy price action. Really good look right now for you.
What's the daily on this? I
was just looking at it. We're still not even close, but you know we're definitely broke out. Let's pull up that daily on the bad boy. Yeah,
can we zoom into like the gap down areas? Okay, so there's a hammer there. That's what I'm looking at. Oh, you have the gaps filled on
I can take that up. Yeah, it's super easy. Just remove pre-market price action, right?
Apply.
And then you go right there.
So there you go. There's like indecision print there. And if you go along the lines, you'll slowly start to see the buying pressure. And when we were talking with Nimrod about the position, it's just like, hey, this is what we see from a technical standpoint, just correlating the price with the volume as well too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
so
glad
this has got room here, Joey. It looks like the gap fill initially there at 378. So this should be a 375. You should have that magnetic breakout. So if you're looking for a swing trade, 350, obviously you have to be alive to because it's the $50 level. Could be psychological resistance, but if you're charting based on technicals, likely to fill that gap at least initially into 375, 380, and you can get a lot more. UNH could be a great trade, bro. Yeah. Look, people are not going to get younger. They just get older, and the baby boomer generation is, you know, definitely aging up a storm there, Joey Options. We got to cover this one, though. CTG, CD, dude, I can't even say it. CDTG just took out the high, $1.24. This one's strong. It opened up from the halt right above $1, and here we go again. We taking out highs. Do we come back in, though, and test that dollar? And if we do we hold it this time? We didn't last time. We dropped all the way back down into 70 pennies. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one, Joey Options. Let's see what we can get on CDTG.
CD land. CD
land. Oh, that's ugly.
Yeah. All right, guys. What are you looking at? For right now, I'm just R&R because I don't see anything specific. I would love to have caught this whole trend on Tesla, but that wasn't the case. What has my friend K-Web been up to as well? If that thing's gone nuts, I might have to get out of here because I'm like, hey man, you gotta Deontay Wilder these things, not be a little Devin Haney. Yeah, it is crazy. All right, love when it does that. Do.
This thing halted to the downside. Joey, I got to show this.
Yeah, show me.
$1.24. We make a new high, and this is what I mean that we have trouble holding through $1 on this one. You can consistently see it, right? Every time we break through that dollar, look at that. Now we're halted down, I believe, at 99 pennies. So it's had a lot of trouble. Now, what I like about this, Joey, even though we keep halting and rejecting that dollar, we still got higher lows. Every successive area a little bit higher than its predecessor. So this could end up holding above $1. You're just going to have to deal with this kind of volatility in the interim. So keep your eye on it, I guess, if you like small caps.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, okay, cool. KWEB hasn't been doing too much. That's positive. We like that. RBLX on, no, I don't. Okay, so, yeah, we can go to this and take a look at the 15-minute. But what I see here, potential double bottom, right? You get that move, and now you want to break this neckline, but we can see that we have these consistent higher lows, or sorry, lower highs, and that's not positive. So you want to sit on the backside of this trend, and then maybe you can continue that move higher. 15-minute, it's given up too much of this bull flag in order for me to consider it one. Again, it is the 15-minute. Here it is, though. This was a nice one on Friday. Bang, right at the lows. You wait for that waterfall to complete. You get that hammer candle, nice buying candle, boom, and then you get that move higher. So, but right now, I'm not seeing anything too exciting on RBLX or RBLX, sorry. And then also, yeah, QM nonsense, way to crush that one. Hopefully you're still cooking up on there, and that's working out for you. Do I take a short on the Qs? The thing is, though, with me, it's just like I try to short it, and it's just like, why am I shorting the market? The tech sector, obviously hard. Ooh, that reminds me, Shreve, guess what we haven't done today?
Hold on, I'm disconnected here.
Oh, okay.
Everything's disconnected. Are you connected?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, what the hell?
You're frozen? Oh,
Yeah,
no, I'm not frozen. I'm not. Oh, no, maybe not. No, it's KWEB.
No, you're good.
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm back in action, baby.
Okay, you're rocking and rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, so get to what I was getting at here is the top performing sectors of the day. We have not done that. So let's go over that. Energy sector leading the way up 1 1/4. Then in second place, we have the utilities up 6/10, and then healthcare sector up about 0.5%. Now the bottom three being the real estate sector down 4/10, closer to 5, and then the industrials down about 1%, and then the materials down about 1 3/4. So not the best look, but let's take a gander at some of the major averages. All right, so on this week, we have the Qs leading the way up 2 1/4. In second place, we have the small cap land up 1 1/4, and then SPY sitting in that third place up 1 1/10, and then also the Dow only up 6/10. But there it is, not too bad of a look. At those highs, this was earlier in September there, boom. That was a weekly, and then sure enough, you take a nice nosedive down, slowly starting to recover. So nothing horrible. Now, as for the month, Q's just holding on by a thread, only up 1 1/10, and then SPY up 2%, Dow up almost 4%, and in the past month, Sharif, the small cap land IWM up 7 1/3 there. That is insane
Crazy
stuff. QM's going nuts. Talk to us about it.
It's insane. It opened up high day 43.16, dropping back down. At least it's not halting up again, bro. It may drop down and halt down. Here we go. It just popped up, popped down, and it's gonna halt up. It got bought up aggressively. So this one did dip below the prior bar low. It filled the gap right into I think 38.5 there. It fills the gap very quickly with a wick, gets bought up immediately. It is halted up again, 290%. Yo, sorry, I was.
Yeah, it's
I thought I unplugged in.
You might have logged you off when you were frozen there.
Good call. Go ahead, Joey.
All right, guys. 14 years, 0 hacks, 0 excuses. BTCC.com delivers when others don't. Trade Bitcoin up to 500x, even Tesla, gold, and Forex. With smart copy trading, you don't just watch the pros, you trade like them. Regulated in the USA, Canada, and Europe. Trusted by 6.8 million traders. Trader TV Live exclusive. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description box for a 15% deposit bonus. BTCC.com, where the pros trade, and now so can you. Adara, what do you got for us?
Just be aware here, Meta CFO making some comments at this Goldman Sachs Communicopia conference, saying that there's still plenty of room to grow in some markets before reaching saturation points. So Meta, of course, involved in multiple markets, has its 10 multiple pies, saying here that they still think they have more room to grow in certain markets before they reach the point of saturation. Interesting look there. Also, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, saying in a CNBC interview that he thinks the economy is weakening. Keep an eye on JPM. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adira. All right, we're going to start the news in a hot second, just setting up over here, guys. Very interesting, obviously, afternoon coming as Apple will have their event. And Adira will be bringing all the news from there. We'll try to make all the connections with the price action. So let's start over here by reviewing, said Apple. So we kind of already know what to expect from the Apple event because they do one every year, and now they're pre-recording it. Since COVID, so set to unveil the new Apple 17 iPhone 17 lineup at the Steve Jobs Theater. I don't even know they had one like that. They're going to launch the 17, the 17 Pro, 17 Pro Max. They're also going to launch an updated Apple Watch series as well as the Apple Watch Ultra. AirPods Pro 3 coming, likely with a heart rate sensor involved. That's all speculation on the net. It's going to be one of their boldest refresh cycles, I think, since basically the 12 or, the 12. I think 12 or 11. There is the Slim, obviously, as we talked about the iPhone Slim, which will be a new form figure. A lot of experts are saying that they're likely doing that because they're getting ready for the foldable series. Now, whether you like the foldable series or not, it looks like that's what they're basing this on, so they can kind of get real world experience with slimmer designs. But they're also expecting a ProMotion display. So you're going to get 120 hertz on some of the base models now rather than 60. You're also going to get good improvements on the camera. You're going to bump up that front facing camera from 12 to 24 megapixels. As we talked about slimmer designs, a lot of people, though, saying that they may shift from a titanium design to aluminum for better wireless charging. So you could have higher speed wireless charging. Looks like that doesn't work as well with titanium as it does with aluminum. They're also going to have a new custom Wi-Fi chip. It's in-house Wi-Fi 7 chip. Don't forget, they're making their own modem chips now with the C1 modem, so we're relying less on Qualcomm. Good look there. And the battery charging, Joey, apparently you're going to have faster speeds with the wireless charging, but the iPhone 17 Slim, or whatever they're going to call it, is going to have one of the smallest batteries that Apple's put in a flagship phone in quite some time. So don't expect good battery life from that device. We'll have to see what the Pro Max has. That's usually their biggest battery. And then last but not least, the topic that everyone wants to hear more about, what the hell are they going to do with AI? Analysts kind of taking Adira's perspective, saying they're not going to open their mouth about AI because they don't have it ready. So we're going to have to wait, I guess, another 10 minutes or so to find out what they're going to say. But delayed Siri, Joey, that's going to be in focus.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adira, as you just mentioned, she said, I don't think it's probably in their best interest not to mention it. But as for the battery, I think this is the best iPhone battery, personally, on the 16. I don't even have to charge it multiple times a day. You can be on it throughout the whole day and not have to worry about too much drainage, which wasn't the case before, right? We knew that Samsung phones were substantially better in the battery life. You could go all day and not have to worry, even days at a time, and not have to charge. That wasn't the case with some of these iPhones. Again, a lot of some hardware upgrades, a couple software upgrades as well, too, obviously with the heart rate monitor going through that. But again, for me personally, I don't know if the iPhone Slim is going to be a needle mover. I'm going to go ahead and say it's not going to be, and nor is the flip phone. I don't know who's going to be racing to grab this thing. There will be individuals, but me personally, not a needle mover. Sharif mentioned this wearables. I like this. Get some glasses rolling. Get that. They had the Vision, they had the Vision Pro, right? Is what they were rolling off of. Get that done. Get some glasses. Get some projectables. Do something. But for me personally, I don't love all of these hardware upgrades. Let's see some software upgrades and something new.
Absolutely. Dara, what's your take on this? I mean, you kind of gave us your opinion yesterday. Any newer thoughts?
Honestly, no. I think really this is going. They're better off if they don't say AI. I literally remember watching the exact moment last time when they mentioned AI, more or less to say, well, we'll have more next year, and the stock dropped. So Apple, don't do that. Just maybe if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. Now, I do want to bring your guys' attention to a infographic series on X at TTV Research. What I did was I went through every single iPhone launch for the last 18s that started in 2007 all the way up to 2024. And what I did was I looked at the weekly stock reaction. I also showed the iPhones that were introduced at those events. So you can take a look at that at TTV Research. Here's just the most recent lineup. So 2021 all the way to 2024. And this is, again, the entire picture. So you can see the weekly moves have gotten a lot less, I guess, dramatic in recent years. Now, one thing I do want to say that I think is really important to remember. These weekly moves, when Apple has a red week, are much more significant than when they have a green week. So Apple's average red week for the weeks that it goes down, which is 50% of the time or 9 weeks, it was almost 4%. It only goes up. When it goes up, it's an average of 2% move to the upside. So keep that in mind. If we have a poorly received event, that can lead to a pretty weak weekly performance.
Nebius stock soars on a $19.4 billion Microsoft AI deal. The shares, I should say, surged over 50% pre-market trading after they announced a multi-year deal agreement with Softy. Now, the deal is valued at $19.4 billion, but $17.4 billion is the amount that's going to be paid through 31, and what they're going to supply them with are GPUs and cloud computing to power their workloads. I'm talking about Microsoft. They're also Microsoft, that is, retaining the option to purchase additional computing capacity as their demand scales even further and they have more need for it. Just in case you don't know what Nebius is or you haven't been acquainted with the company, they are an Amsterdam-based company. They were spun off a Russian tech giant called Yandex back in 2023. I'm assuming that's probably something to do with the war. The company focuses on providing GPU-based infrastructure, much like CoreWeave, which is critical for training these AI models. They got key investors here of note. We got NVIDIA, we got FCELL, highlighting the strong institutional backing that this company has. Rivals, like I said, like CoreWeave also saw a big move in the pre-market. CoreWeave has their own headline, though, with that CoreWeave Ventures. And then, what can we say about the AI demand outlook, Joey? Obviously underscores the strong ongoing demand for AI compute and high-powered computing in general. NVIDIA reported, obviously, better than expected Q2 earnings, but it sold off a little bit on that China news. The CFO of NVIDIA, Colette Kress, projected about a $3 to $4 trillion AI infrastructure spending by 2030. You got to assume companies like CoreWeave, companies like Nebius, definitely going to take advantage of that, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just again, capex heavy, cloud computing. It's all in need for this AI boom, this AI revolution that we're going through. Nebius is up 575% from October of last year. So that's a big time move from $14 all the way up to $97 roughly. So not too bad of a look. Again, gap up, keep an eye out on this. If the volume increases, you close as this hammer, just keep an eye out because you don't want to be buying all the way up here. CSPs is the way to go.
A good look here for Nebius Adera, and another even better look is having Microsoft as a client.
Yeah, I mean, I think also it's just a good look for that whole industry that Nebius is kind of in, because initially I was really confused as to why CoreWeave was up on this. Like, they're in the same space, you think they're rivals, you think they're competitors, but it is because, as mentioned here in these notes, we have this is just a trend overall that these companies like Microsoft are willing to spend so much. So, there's enough in this space. I mean, you've got CoreWeave, you have the situation there with Nebius. Apply Digital has had deals with CoreWeave as well. So the point is, there's enough people in the industry or companies in the industry, and there's enough clients that hopefully there's enough love to go around for all of them. So yeah, I think beyond this just being a good catalyst for Nebius, at least pre-market, I think it's also a good catalyst for names like CoreWeave, because it just shows, as you said, there's still that AI spending. There's still these customers that are willing to pay big. And I mean, yeah, we're going to hopefully see the benefits of that for these companies going forward, maybe in their earnings as well.
Tesla registrations rise in China, but the market share continues to be under pressure. They reported 14,300 new insurance registrations in China during the week of September 1st to 7th. That marks a 41.3% increase from the prior quarter's average. However, weekly registrations also continue to improve, up 14.4% versus the prior week. But when you look at a bigger picture, it's still down 11.7% year over year. So the weakness continues there. Despite the sequential gains, Tesla's Q3 registrations are down nearly 20%. in China versus Q2, and versus Q2, and year to date they're off by 7.2% compared to 2024. As we know, Tesla's China sales fell over 10% in August as compared to August of 2024, with about 57,000 units registered, marking the 6th straight decline for the year of 2025. They have a new Model Y called the Model Y LSUV, which is a 3-row 6-seater. It shows strong demand. They had 120,000 orders from the last data that we got, about 10,000 orders a day. To counter the slumping sales, they've also tried to cut the Model 3 rear-wheel drive, long-range sedan by about 3.5%, a little bit more, 3.7% price cut there, down to about 36,000, 37,000-ish in U.S. dollar terms, obviously selling in the yuan. But they got rising competition from Chinese EV makers. We showed you yesterday the XPeng P7, which is obviously a competitor to the Model 3 and I think some models as well, or some trims of that P7 could be competitive with the Model S. And the market share in the U.S., Joey, down below 40% for the first time since 2017, slipping to about 38% in August, according to Cox Automotive. We didn't really expect their market share to grow because they had the top, I think, at 80%.
Yeah.
But we just didn't think it was going to drop this quickly.
Well, I mean, it's tough, right? Again, we're not going to fall into the realm of like, hey, Tesla's just another car business. I don't think that's the case. But you got to look at its boundary, and essentially it's selling vehicles. And it's tough, especially in America, and most definitely across the globe now that we're experiencing BYD and all these Chinese EV makers starting to come in and start grabbing share from Tesla. So you have to remain forward-looking with this name. Price compression, is it going to break out to the top side? Maybe, possibly. Sharif and I think we both agree on the fact that the Model 2 would be good, but is it going to be a game changer for Tesla? I don't know. Depends on the margins, obviously, with that. And also, if you think about it, if BYD's continuously grabbing share, they're more new, so it's quicker. The acceleration and the growth is faster than what Tesla is experiencing in Europe. But what if they're like, hey, what if we want to compete with the Model 2 as well, but we're going to come out with something cheaper? We don't really care. We're just going to undermine it because we know that's their strategic plan. We're going to undermine the Model 2 and just phase Tesla out in so many markets that it once dominated the space.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll have to wait and see exactly what the Model 2 does, as you said, but it should be interesting. Adara?
Honestly, I don't have too much to say here, and also the Apple event starting soon, so I will probably have much less to say going forward. I'll be listening to that. But yeah, with Tesla, I mean, honestly, it seems like this could just be a little bit of an anomaly. It's 1 week, and it's giving us generally a message that is the opposite of everything else we've seen with regards to Tesla's demand. Now, again, I do think that if we continue, it's kind of more just in general, but given the market share stuff, especially that we talked about yesterday, I think it's even more important that this Elon Musk pay package potentially goes through. I think shareholders clearly want it. And if Elon's incentivized to help the company, that's obviously for the better.
Joey?
Yeah, I was going to say, even registrations in California are down, right? They're down 23% year over year. That obviously had to do with some of the brand damage caused by Doge, etc. Will it start to accelerate once again? Only time will tell, but we need the new models. Now, one more thing here as well before we move on. Leading into this Apple event here and the release, do you ever think that Apple will stop releasing a phone every year and maybe go every other year?
Well, they haven't done it since 07. So if they do, it'd be new.
Yeah. Right, it would be new, and then maybe...
I don't think the market would like that, though, Joey, because isn't it a revenue generator?
Absolutely, but what I'm thinking is, do you think maybe it would cause... Like, you can make the upgrade substantially better by skipping out the year, and then do you think that would maybe cause not necessarily a super cycle, but more people intrigued about getting a phone that's 2 years newer than just every year getting a new phone that has the odd a better
I see
camera,
your point.
You know what I mean?
I see your point. I just think what it comes down to is what the revenue numbers are going to be and whether or not that strategy brings in more money.
Yeah,
that's really at the end of the day, because I think, we got like $46 billion, give or take, in revenue from iPhones on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So if you're doing that on a quarter and then you've got to mark that down to say 25 or 30, you're going to see a huge drop in Apple's share price.
Yeah,
right?
the sales would obviously depend.
Absolutely,
massively
unless there was a sort of compensating in some way.
I'm just thinking, like, will that make people more intrigued to get the iPhone and upgrade instead of every 3 or 4 years? You just go.
You don't think you're wrong. I think human nature probably, because I personally don't upgrade every year.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it from a shareholder's perspective, you want that revenue.
You want that
all
coming
the time.
out every year.
Let's go on to UNH though, Joey, because UNH is absolutely flying right now, over 8%, 8.2%, trying to take out 347. I think it's got a high there of around 347 and 2/3, and this is why they rose about 4%, just 4% in pre-market trading, doubling that up after the company reaffirmed its 2025 earnings outlook and reported robust preliminary Medicare Advantage star ratings. We'll get to why that's important in a second, but the momentum here reflects the investor confidence heading into the scheduled investor meetings, which, as I mentioned earlier, runs from yesterday to tomorrow, September 8th to 10th. So let's talk about that Medicare Advantage star rating. The Apple event is now live, so as soon as Adara has something for us, she'll interrupt and she'll let us know. So United Healthcare disclosed that 78% of its Medicare Advantage memberships are expected to be in the 4-star or higher plans by 2027, which is in line with expectations. So why is that relevant? These ratings are key as they impact, kind of how the government reimbursement fees and rates go. Higher rated plans can secure bonus payments and offer enhanced benefits, which help, obviously, drive enrollment growth. So the results are consistent with the historical performance of UNH, which is kind of reinforcing the strong position here. And as I mentioned, they reaffirmed their 2025 EPS guidance unchanged from their re-guiding back on July 29th. Remember, they had pulled their guidance as a result of, many different things, and then they reissued the guidance back on the 29th, so they basically reaffirmed that, Joey. So the market likes that, and UNH up over 8%.
Yeah, big time. So Orgen revised each year. 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. Now, as you listed, Orogenix OGEN is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Orogenix is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. So yeah, as for UNH, this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. You just have this continuous sell-off here from a technical standpoint. And then when you have a company that isn't completely falling to shambles, everything wasn't going their way, but you're down 60%, and then sure enough, you have these large volume prints. I'm just speaking from a technical standpoint, is look for a potential bounce. And this is what I was referring to earlier. Look at this hammer candle and look at the volume, right? We've seen it in the likes of Palantir and other names. Yes, you move south of that, but eventually you do get that bounce, and then sure enough, 337, top end of a gap, or the lower end of a gap, and then sure enough, you might get that move up to 377, especially at this pace that UNH is moving at, Shreve.
All right, just watching as Apple talks about the AirPods. Shout out to Timmy C. The event's already started. So let's talk about AMD cutting their price target here on GPU price cuts. So HSBC cut its price target on AMD from 200 down to 185, but it did maintain that buy rating. The market cap still stands at about a little bit less than 250 billion, with a stock, I should say, surging 51% in the past 6 months. Analysts are kind of, I don't want to say in disagreement, but their price target ranges widely here on AMD from 125.10 all the way up to 230, showing divergence in what Wall Street thinks AMD is going to be able to do. Now, here's why they changed their price target. So AMD's MI355 chip was set to sell at $25,000 minimum per pop. That actually dropped down to $23,000, which could, show maybe some weakness in demand as people prefer either, NVIDIA chips or others. The reduced price also obviously changes the GPU revenue for 2026. What was expected earlier was $15.1 billion. That's been revised down now to $13.9 billion, but still above 20% above that consensus estimate. So they were once guiding 15.1. Looks like that's likely going to be about 13.9. Obviously, very speculative as we still haven't gotten into 2026. But you do have major hyperscalers putting in orders. The likes of Meta, Microsoft, Oracle, XAI, they all want to get their hands on that next gen AMD chip. I'm talking about the MI400, not the 355, which is what's being compared to the Blackwell chip. So they're looking to get their hands on those racks and the racks by the end of the year, 2025, not even to next year. So we'll see if the revenue improves, Joey, by Q1 of next year as the MI400 makes its way onto the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. So AMD, not too bad, guys. We've seen some monster moves in this name from the likes of those April lows. Again, with these hyperscalers just continuously raising the capex and spending a lot of money, I'm sure they'll be doing just fine. But you get 140% from those April lows, and you have pulled back 20. I think it's going to be a good buying opportunity, especially with the release of the MI400 coming next year. So, Adair, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Apple here announcing their AirPods Pro 3. Apparently, these are going to be able to help enhance the sound of the music, the quality of the music when you listen to music, but it'll also enhance the quality of vocals, be that in a song or if you're watching TV or talking to people. So it sounds like the sound quality is heightened, but also noise canceling is very excellent as well. That's happening here with AAPL. Only major announcement we've had so far here, and the first speaker we've had since Tim Cook finished his little introduction there. So Apple, again, AirPods Pro 3 have been announced. During his intro, Tim Cook did tease some announcements here with the Apple Watch, the AirPods, and then also the iPhone.
Thank you, Adair, for that. Yep, just listening to see what they're talking about there. Let's go on to the next topic. Oracle reports earnings after the bell tonight. Make sure to catch that on the Market Recap show. Analysts are expecting Oracle to report Q1 revenue in the range of around $15.03 billion. That would be up from the $13.31 they printed last year on the quarter. So that marks the continued double-digit growth for Oracle. EPS is forecasted to come in at about $1.48 as compared to the $1.39 last year. So profitability as well continues to grow there, reflecting strong profit momentum as they shore up costs and increase margins. Oracle, Joseph, has beaten EPS estimates 8 out of the last 10 quarters, which obviously sets up high expectations for the cloud name. And you have a whole bunch of analyst commentary going into earnings today. JP Morgan maintains their neutral rating with a price target of 185, moving that price target, I should say, from 185 to 210, citing AI-related booking momentum, but still maintaining that neutral rating nonetheless. Morgan Stanley, for their part, they boosted the price target also from 175 to 246. I don't know how that is cautious optimism, maybe because of the equal weight. Barclays, quite optimistic. They're overweight. They boosted their price target from 221 to 281. You guys get it. There's a whole bunch of analysts that are bullish on Oracle, and Oracle's done quite well. And here's why. Because their cloud revenue jumped 52% year over year, obviously driven by AI. Broader cloud momentum only up 27%. So Oracle's cloud far outperforming the industry average of 27%, which is a year over year figure. And the AI pipeline includes that $30 billion deal that we reported on with Microsoft, boosting the long-term visibility. So we'll have to see how they did on execution and bookings this quarter, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the numbers are going to be pretty good, and the guidance is probably going to be pretty good as well, too, as the likes of OpenAI is striking deals with Oracle as well. So that's going to be extremely, extremely positive. So you want to keep an eye out on that guidance, and most definitely through the cloud growth. Surprisingly, Oracle from those April lows, not too bad of a look, 99%. So you almost doubled your money. You have, if you did sell at the top there. But again, I like what these guys are doing. Cloud seems to be the narrative in a lot of these tech names as the CapEx remains heavy.
We just got the first Apple intelligence reference right there with respect to the
How many
AirPods.
minutes in?
I don't know.
It doesn't tell you.
I don't know. When I hover over, it doesn't tell me because it's live, right? But we're 9 minutes, I guess, because it started out 1, right? We'll have to see what they say with respect to the iPhone, because I don't think people are buying Apple Intelligence. Well, maybe you are for the AirPods, so it can eavesdrop and listen to everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I think Adair has news. We're going to go to her at the big desk.
This is not on Apple. This is actually on META. More comments from the CFO at Meta at that Goldman Sachs Communacopia conference, saying that the company is apparently looking into partnerships and financing options to increase flexibility for data centers with 20-year lifespans. So Meta here with some data center related announcements, and again, possible partnerships and financing options on watch. META. Apple event still happening. I'm only hearing right now about the AirPods. Live translation, as I actually had on the screen there, is going to be one of the features on here. And if you're looking for any Apple headlines that aren't super market moving but still worth noting, check the bottom third of the screen where the the position board is, I'll be putting them there.
And look what Duolingo did, this piece of hot garbage. As soon as Apple announced the live translation, it was at 287. It dropped all the way down to 275. Now recovering back into 280. So Duolingo zigging and zagging here on the back of this news. But look at UNH go, baby. That's the chart on UNH. 8.5%, looking to take out 348. Keep your eye on that one. Let's talk about Intel announcing a major executive shakeup amid turnaround efforts. It's not Lip-Bu-Tan this time who's leaving. So Intel announced the departure of Michelle Johnson Holothos, who is the product chief. She was at the company over 30 years. She previously served in senior roles, including the interim co-CEO. After Pat Gelsinger left in 2024, she will remain, though, with the company as a strategic advisor during the transition period. There's new hires as well. They picked up Kevork. This guy's definitely Armenian. You can tell by his last name. Kakachian joins Intel as an EVP and GM of the data center group. Data center, again, a euphemism for AI. He's coming from ARM, so a bit of a nice move there with prior experience also at NXP Semiconductor, and he's also got experience with Qualcomm. And then they've also got a new central engineering group, which will be formed later this year. Joey tasked, I should say, to develop custom silicon, as we talked about yesterday, which is what Broadcom does. So they're adding more people. And then obviously the strategic restructuring, Joseph, that we've been talking about a long time now with respect to the change from the foundry focused business under Patty G into a more efficient, leaner Intel under Lip-Bu-Tan.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talk about this all the time, Shreve. The government can hand these guys as much money as possible, but then if they can't acquire any customers, the company's still in trouble. We've seen the likes of Meta as well, too, starting to rearrange some of its intelligence kind of groups there. And then sure enough, you get the rearrangement in Intel. Is it going to benefit them? We don't know. Only time will tell. But I think Intel is in a little deep. Adara, what do you got for us? Apple continuing to climb higher.
Yeah, it's actually about Apple. So Apple battery life announcement here with the AirPods. They're going from 6 hours to 8 hours battery life with full charge. And apparently for their hearing aid features, or for their hearing aid, I guess, accessible AirPods, there's a way to do 10 hours full charge. So really interesting announcements for Apple with their hearing aid feature. I've spoken about this previously, but this has been apparently really well received in general and a nice step for Apple in terms of accessibility. So good look there for AAPL with that hearing aid feature. I also want to mention, too, that they announced now you can have live workout integration with your AirPod, your Apple AirPod Pro 3s. That'll basically talk to you, tell you, oh, good job. This is, the best workout you've done this week. It'll be able to track your heart rate apparently as well. So interesting AirPod fitness related applications as well. Thank you,
Adara. Yeah, Timmy C back on there. I mean, I could use a good encouragement every now and again. I don't know if the encouragement is going to be going to hit the same from an AI though.
Yeah, you never know. But I changed my ChatGPT to the English accent. So it's like way more intriguing, right? I feel like you listen more when someone who has a thought, right?
No. Why is that the case?
I don't know.
The English accent always sounds smarter than the North American accent.
It just sounds right. So maybe if someone with an English accent is in here, is like, yes, bravo, you've got it.
Yes, bravo.
You know what I mean? Then maybe
all right. Now they're talking about the 3 different Apple Watches. We got the regular Apple Watch, the Ultra 3. Headline right there, AirPods Pro priced at $249. I don't know what the previous price was, but I do like that 2 hours extra of battery life from 6 hours to 8 hours.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know if that's a big needle mover, but it's not bad. So the 3 different Apple Watches, the Apple Watch SE, the regular, and the Ultra 3. We'll see if it's well received. Zigging and zagging. Apple's essentially flat. Let's go on the last. I think.
What the?
This is not the last one. Let's go on to CoreWeave.
Yo, sorry, 1 second.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, okay, no, sorry. I thought that was a real print. Otherwise, I was going to have to interrupt you. It is not. So, yeah.
No worries.
That's just some whatever.
So, CoreWeave, Joey, they're launching AI Ventures. They're calling it CoreWeave Ventures, a new fund, which is going to be essentially there to back early stage AI startups with both capital and operational support. So, basically trying to generate or to form the next generation of clients because they're going to be using their services most likely. The program will give founders access to CoreWeave's cloud platform, investment models, as well as strategic insights, which will help leverage the company's existing partnerships. You've got the co-founder there emphasizing the goal is to empower innovative founders to build the next class of AI innovation. And just to give you an idea about how many AI startups there were in the United States. So the AI sector remains very hot. About 105, a little bit less, $105 billion was raised by these U.S. AI startups in the first half of 2025, 104.3 billion in the first half of 2025, matching nearly all of 2024. So clearly a lot more startups coming to market at the moment. CoreWeave also benefited from news that obviously Nebius struck that deal, Joey, with Microsoft for $19.4 billion, which is not obviously helping it directly, but shows demand for the market that it works in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And isn't it with CoreWeave though, they have a heavy concentration with just under a couple of customers, which obviously isn't the best.
Yes.
As we know. Yeah. So, but I mean, if these guys are continuously spending money, eventually it will cool down. So what is it going to do for some of these cloud names? I mean, in the likes of CoreWeave, you're down 50%, and that's not even at the lows, right? So just keep in mind, this IPO was absolutely phenomenal, but sure enough, if you're buying and you're allocating within here, you're down a hefty amount already. And I mentioned before that the CapEx may be sustained for the foreseeable future, but eventually it will cool off. And then when the data center and the cloud spend really starts to cool off, watch out, CoreWeave is going to get hit pretty heavily.
All right. ASML secures a stake in Mistral AI with a $13.8 billion valuation. Why is that even relevant? Because we've heard very little out of Europe about any AI companies. This is the leader there, Mistral AI, and ASML, obviously another European company, taking a stake to the tune of 13.8 billion or 11.7 billion euros in a Series C funding round. They led the investment round. I'm talking about ASML with a 1.3 billion euro investment, securing about 11% stake in Mistral. On a fully diluted basis, the total round raised about 1.7 billion euros, more than doubling Mistral's valuation from this time last year, which was about 5.8 billion. Key investors include NVIDIA, DST Global, Andreessen Horowitz. You got General Catalyst Index Ventures, as well as Lightspeed. So some big names throwing their hat into the ring here with Mistral. Again, not too many AI companies coming out of the European continent, so you're getting a lot of backing for this one. This obviously strengthens Europe's push to build its own AI ecosystem. Amid the rising protectionist policies, this could be good for Europe. So ASML, where are we at? We're almost at 805 on ASML, so it's taking out some key levels. And we're going to go to Adara in 1 second. I just want to take a look at the chart here on ASML, because I know we were up here prior to earnings. Have we filled the earnings gap? Almost. So we were at that 822 area. We're gotten into 805 on ASML, so it's up 1% on the day. Good move, though, off that area low into 715. Go ahead, Adara.
Yeah, just be aware here, Apple now talking about their Apple Watch. They've transitioned from the AirPod Pro 3 to these Apple Watch-related announcements prior to the actual announcement of the product and the technical statistics. They did have a whole video showing all of these individuals whose health was positively impacted by the Apple Watch. So it seems like much like what we had with the AirPods talking about fitness, I suspect there will be a fitness and health focus with this iPhone or this Apple Watch presentation as well. And as we're doing, they already said it's going to be more durable and that the glass particular is going to be pretty strong. So if I have any more updates here, I'll let you know. But again, Apple continuing this health focus with this series of announcements with this Apple Watch Series 11.
Thank you, Adira. Yeah, and it looks like they're going to add 5G connectivity now to the Apple Watch 11. I think you obviously got cellular, but I don't think it was 5G. I think we were stuck in LTE.
Sharif, what I just heard there, for me, that's just not, and it's like, okay, yeah, the watch has the liquid glass, and it gives you beautiful shades of color. Like that for me is just a big nothing.
What do you want it to do?
Be a little bit more intriguing.
More healthy, right?
Yeah,
more you got the oxygen, the blood oxygen thing now, because they weaseled away from Massimo. Yeah. You have the heart rate on there. You got a lot of different data points. And from my understanding, it's going to be upgradable via software. So apparently they put a lot of the sensors in, but the sensors you don't turn them on from software. So we'll have to see. That's the big push, though. And you and I have been talking about that, wearables, right? Health wearables. Yeah. So if this is not it, I don't know what else is, right? Like if they're not going to do it on that, what are they going to do it on? A ring, the Aura ring.
But I mean, again, what you can only fit so much technology in within a ring before it gets too big as well, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's all the news headlines for now, Joey. So we can kind of pause there, and we'll keep tabs on Apple. the visualizer. Thank you, Assassino. Take over for a second, Joe. Let me just load
absolutely.
it up. Next.
So yeah, guys, there's ASML as well too. We were talking about that. I mean, from those July of 20, so a little bit over a year ago, you're still down 30%. But I mean, off of those April lows, like the rest of the market, you get 37% there. So nothing horrible. I mean, the Qs were up 30% off of those April lows. So just slightly outpacing the market there. Let's see, yeah. You're good to go. You're ready to rock and roll.
Just want to remind everybody to vote, guys. Looks like UNH is getting all the love today, and as well it should be. Breaking out aggressively here, 8 1/3. Get into the chat. Vote for whatever ticker your heart so desires. I think QMMM should get some love as well. It already has 56 votes, and guess what? QMMM is halted to the upside again. It was halted sub 50 at 48, and it's halted now at $69.19. We have another one, another treasury name squeezing to no end. What is the stock up now? QMMM, I don't even have it on the side chart, so give me a second. It is up 514%, halted 69.19. But get into the chat, vote for whatever your heart so desires. Just make sure you throw in that $sign before you vote, guys. UNH, again, getting all the love. Let's reload this, see what's good on that. Let's see if we can kind of reload that. UNH is not getting any more votes. How's that possible? We just looked at that at 119. So let's get those votes up, guys. Get into the chat, vote. Throw in that $sign first and foremost. Thank you, Assassino, for letting me know about that. We're going to keep an eye here. We have to on MMM. The tap now showing 69.20, so 1 penny only above the halt level. We're halted at 69.19. We halted at 120.58, and prior to that we had a 5, 10, 15, 20, almost a 25. I think it is actually a 25-minute halt early on QMMM, and typically when you have such a long halt, usually you sell off. We'll have to see how this one trades. Go ahead, Adair.
Apple here announcing that their Series 11 of their Apple Watch is going to be having a 24-hour battery life. In addition to increasing the battery life on their AirPods, they've also increased it on this Series 11 watch. 24 hours battery life. They also have now a hypertension feature that can help notice patterns in your blood pressure and notify you if your blood pressure is notably high. They also now have a sleep scoring system to help you understand the quality of your sleep the prior night, and they can actually, I guess, aggregate data over a period of time as well. So interesting stuff here. Again, health focus across this Apple presentation. So far, they're still in the watch. If I get updates on the phone, I will let you know right away.
Thank you for that, Adair.
Good stuff there. No, Jake, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, Jake. Yes, cash, Apple, short. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you got it, though, Gaurav. Nice grab on that one. So, bang. You get that move higher, isolated volume, get the selling pressure within those candles. You play the break, or if you get your average up and around these neck of the woods, you get that move. So, yeah, congratulations to you, 50 cents. I'm looking at the TQs. I'm telling Jay, should I do it? Should I not? I probably just shouldn't, but it's very, very intriguing, and I want to kind of take that move back towards the volume-weighted average price. But if it blows past some of these pre-market highs, then we're going to have to just completely avoid that. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, Jay. I don't think it's there today. What do you got, Sharif?
Nothing. I'm just working into CDTG. It's trying to work above the dollar again. So this one, we're just going to basically look to build a position into that dollar area. So I've got a dip trade set up at 90 pennies. We'll start out with the dollar area in case it continues to go. Otherwise, I'm going to be looking for the higher lows. It's giving me a bunch of higher lows on the day. You needn't be a chartered market technician to be able to draw this trend line over here. It seems like it's very, very straightforward. We'll have to wait and see whether this area holds up. We're going to go to Adara. She's got more news.
Yeah, this is really interesting. In addition to the Apple Watch, they're also now introducing the Apple Watch SE3. So they already did the Series 11 watch. The SE3 features even more health features, including something that will be able to use, I guess, the temperature of your wrist to retroactively know, or I guess retroactively detect ovulation. So lots here in the health space again with this Apple presentation. Interesting stuff. Citigroup CFO also talking apparently at a conference saying that their expenses would be higher than their initial guidance of $54.3 billion. They do expect impact from neutral to positive on earnings. So could be positive impact here on earnings, could also be a bit neutral. But again, they are guiding higher expenses than they previously expected.
Thank you for that. All right, continuing to watch here as CDTG, zigs and zags, a little above $1, a little bit below, seller at 3s. Let's see if we can work up way into 4s. So I've layered my orders to account for how this one's been trading on the day. It seems to have aggressive price spikes that, retreat very quickly. So if that's going to be the modus operandi of CDTG, then that's kind of the way I'm going to trade it. I've layered the orders to take advantage of price spikes. Now we're looking at 10, seller at 10. I'm posted up at 10. We're doing it live. We're taking out 10s. The next level I'm waiting at 12s and then 14s and then 18s. So we'll see if we can kind of get that continuation. I don't expect it to kind of really hang out above these levels because it hasn't. Every single move above $1 has retraced below. We made the observation that, in fact, no 5-minute candle has been able to close above that $1. And, it would be crazy for me to expect it on this time. So I am anticipating a drop back down. That's exactly why I have a resting order here waiting at 90. So we'll keep watching this one, Joey. Let's see if it wants to take out the high of the day. That high of the day is at $1.24. So just south of the $0.25. So keep tabs on that, my man.
Good look there. All right, guys, we're going to get involved in some NVDL right at the volume-weighted average price. We have to risk about 20 cents or so, 30 cents, sorry. So we start small. Once thesis starts working out, then we add into the position. So let's get rocking and rolling and see what we can cook up here in NVDL as the market is continuing to climb higher. My man, my man. I mean, hammer candle at VWAP, we like this one. Could just obviously be a lower high, as you can see. If we go out to a higher time frame, why isn't the 10-minute? I feel like why isn't the 10-minute time frame used more often? It's like a nice round number, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't mind
5. Yeah.
I'm assuming because like the quarter,
quarter. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Into the quarters and everything on it. But I thought the 10 would be a solid one. Not as popular, but there it is. 5-minute print. You get this pullback here. Now we have this hammer candle right below the volume weighted average price. You start smaller. Why? Because if we're going to grade our trades, we don't necessarily have an isolated volume print at that specific level. So you start smaller, thesis starts to work out, then you add into the position. Now, as for exponential bet sizing, you have everything correlating in the likes of your volume price analysis signal. You have the volume print and you have the price action print that you can start to grade that a little bit higher, and then you add more shares right off of the jump. But this one, we're not giving it too much, 30 cents, we're at a dodge. If it breaks it, AC Slater will find something else to trade. And Jag, I'm really happy that we didn't short the Qs. I mean, there could potentially be something there, but again, if you just go back in history, obviously it's not always the same case, but pre-market zones, I would always like to take my chances to the top side. And there it goes. NVDA starting to pull back aggressively. Can we hedge with a short on the Nasdaq? Yeah, because we did run right into some pre-market highs, rejected those levels slightly aggressively, and then now are starting to bounce heading back towards VWAP. But watch out, because if Apple is just taking a 5-minute breath here, we'll pull up AAPL, and you get that ABCD type pattern, and you want to take that additional leg higher, watch out, because it's going to drag the Qs up along with it.
All right, guys, here comes that dollar again on CDTG. We did well on it this time, all the way up into 20. We went the beacon to 21, in fact. The only order that went unfilled is that 24 order. We're breaking down again, and the reason is because we can't close above $1, and the 5-minute candle is about to close. So we'll flatten out here. We'll look to get in again at 90 pennies. So it's exactly where I'm going to get in. I'm going to put it right there. So if it drops back down, which I'm anticipating it will, I'd like a better price. So CDTG, it's very repetitive, at least so it seems, in how it's trading on the day. And I'm trying to take advantage of that for my benefit, obviously. So here's what I'm looking at on the side chart. Let me just bring it in. Obviously, I wanted to mention QMMM halted down at 62.28 as well, so be on the lookout for that. So this is my chart on CDTG. So as we saw, that's the 10 a.m. spike. It makes that high, it drops down. Look at this over here, right at 11:30, makes that spike, drop down. Same thing, 12:30, makes that spike, drops down. Each and every one of those drop down, though, those area troughs are higher, excuse me. So what I'm looking for is a drop back down into 90. Now, if it doesn't give me that drop, that's fine. I've already taken the breakout into that 20 penny area. But I am biased that this one will lose the dollar and drop back down to 90, at which case I'll be waiting there. in which case, excuse me, I'll be waiting there. So dropping down to 95 now. Let's see if it can drop a little bit more. It really hasn't found a very specific area of support other than to say higher lows on every successive trough. And that's what I'm basing my trade on right now. So we'll wait until we get that fill. I want to mention that QMMM halted to the downside at 62.28. The current tap showing 60. So this could be the mean reversion. I mean, I wouldn't stand in front of this. And Joseph was actually sending me screenshots of a small cap trader that he follows who had one of their worst losses ever trying to short OCTO yesterday. So just trade this one carefully. Adara has more news at the big desk.
Yeah, we just had here Tim Cook started the iPhone portion of the procedure or the proceedings here, saying that they're going to be introducing 4 new iPhone models today. He was very amped up about this. Right now, they're doing the transition from, I guess, that part of the presentation to the next part. So we're going to see this iPhone announcement now begin. An individual has just started talking about the iPhone 17. I'll let you guys know once I have a better idea of what this includes. But again, Apple on watch moving violently here. We're going to get that iPhone announcement after hearing about the Apple Watch and the AirPod.
Yeah. Thank you, Adara. So we'll definitely keep tabs on that. Feel free to interrupt us anytime now that we're into the real part of the whatever, the show, whatever they're doing there, the event. I want to mention Assassino, CTDG. So dropping back down, it's halted at 93 pennies. I'm not going to pick it up here. Okay, I've got my resting order at around 91. That's what I'm going to leave it. I am biased that this one will put in a higher low. If it doesn't, then we'll lose some. Basically, that simple. QMMM is open, and it's halted back up again. It tests the 10 EMA on the 5 right around 53 bucks. Rockets right back up to 61.57. It does hold an area of technical support, but is still well off the highs, about $8 off the high. Trade this one carefully, up 446%, Joey, as this one continues to zig and zag.
Zig and zag. All right, there we go. We're getting a little bit of a breakdown here in the Qs, and I'm long NVDA. So, again, like a little bit of a hedge against my own position here from an intraday standpoint. Short TQs, long NVDL. Let's see if we can get happening. It's probably not the best idea, but there it goes. TQ is starting to bleed. I do like this short a little bit more. Charlie Taff, way to rock and roll on that. So let's pull it up here and see what we got going on. Excuse you, Adara. There it is. Bang, bang, bang. To some key support levels, we sell that. Now we're looking for that move towards the volume weighted average price. And then now as for NVDL, what is going on here? Okay, NVDL, doom, you're getting that sell off here, breaks through that, we're at a dodge, and then maybe we'll look to add into our TQ's position, considering it might be relatively weak. Like Apple before the, obviously before the event, you have this just continuous slow bleed. You rally right up into there, not sustained, and then now you're currently selling off. Adara, what do you got for us?
The market does not seem to love this iPhone 17 announcement. Again, Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, did say they're going to be 4 new models. So it looks like the iPhone 17 is one of 4, and it's unclear how different these models will be from one another. But regardless, this iPhone 17, 3 times better scratch resistance apparently, and a larger screen and something called ProMotion display. So it's basically more adaptable to you as you use it. And it's also going to be more energy efficient and adjust a little bit more when you're outside. Either way, the market not seeming to love these features. I have not heard them mention right now as of yet anything with regards to AI. I also want to mention what is Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt currently hosting or a press conference. I am not listening to that. I'm listening to the iPhone event, but I'll let you guys know if there are any comments of note. She did announce that Donald Trump's going to be traveling to the UK from September 16th to 18th. We know that CEO Jensen Huang of NVIDIA is set to join him. Back to you.
They just said Apple, you jinxed it, Adara. They just said Apple Intelligence right now. So they're talking with custom silicon, obviously, able to handle Apple Intelligence. So at least from my count, that's the second reference. 5 on the last earnings call, so 2 so far. So we'll continue to watch that. CDTG, as you guys mentioned, halted to the downside. We're not involved. No, we flattened out as it broke the dollar, but I do have that dip trade waiting a little ahead of 90 pennies for that higher low pickup. So that's all I'm looking at right now. That's all I'm going to trade, CDTG, until it breaks down. I'm unlikely to want to execute anything, if at all, on QMMM, even though this is the best mover so far. It's just, it doesn't fit within my playbook of managing risk. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that. Thanks for the super chat, Willis Addison. Go ahead, Joey.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Yeah, All right, super chat. Yeah, Addison, good stuff there. Much appreciated. Let me know whenever we're ready. There it is. We're still long NVDL right at the volume-weighted average price to the T. And then also we're slowly starting to get the bleed here in the Qs. Primary target is going to be VWAP, so it's either hold it or get stopped out. There will be no other option there. Maybe we piece a little bit out here at some key resistance zones. So you can see that right at 93.35. You have a resistance zone. Look for that to hold as support. But if it wants to bleed, Apple may drag the market down with it. So there it goes, bang, bang, starting to work relatively well. Now I got to pull up NVDA up on my chart. Whenever you're ready, Assassino, please be sure to let me know. And this may not work here, Gaurav. Again, this is really, really lower grade of a setup. We're going to give that minus. Okay, so let's rock and roll. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, Analyze, Strategize, Capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading.
Yes.
Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. I agree on the elevating of the trading aspect there, Shreve, because I'm going to hop all out of this NVDA trade, and then I'm going to hold on to this TQQ trade to see if we can get that move into the volume-weighted average price as NVDA broke through some of those key levels that I was using as my stop loss, and now it's continuing its descent there.
All right, man. There we go. So we did catch it. CDTG, we picked it up at that 90 area. Now it's just time to wait because I don't expect this to rocket back up. It hasn't done that in the past. We're taking a bunch of prints right now, but I do expect it to drop. I'm thinking possibly 85 pennies could be the higher low. Really depends on where the buyers step in, obviously, but we took a couple of beaks wet there into 95. We have 90s exactly on. Let's post some orders closer to that dollar as well, and also above that dollar. Actually, let me cancel that order. Let's post a little closer to the dollar, and then we'll post above that dollar area at 01s. Let's see what we can get on this bad boy. Why didn't it post at 01s? What did I do here, Joey? Did I take out too much? No. I don't know why it's not posting at 01s. Okay, let's do this again. 101. There we go. Good job. All right, QMMM halted to the upside again, and this time it's showing a tap of 70. And if we are to open at that $70 level, that would be a new daily high because the previous daily high, 69.20. So QMMM, 501%. As we continue to watch these kind of companies adding crypto to their treasuries do insanely well on an intraday basis, but I really need to stress that intraday thing because, you know, if you're going to be holding this forever and ever more, it may disappoint you. So we'll continue to watch that and just trade them carefully, guys. So I'm going to set up also at 80. Let's go 85.5. Actually, let's go 86 over here on my friend CDTG, looking for it to hold in and around that area and head on to the high side. Back up into 93 we go. The next level I'm waiting at this 97 and change, holding the higher lows but not rocketing back up. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one. Bovin was telling me about a small cap gapper. NACA, apparently NAKA moving up. So let's take a look at NAKA. Bovin had that monster winner yesterday on Octo, NAKA. Let's see what that's the daily chart on. Let's flip to the 5. Not bad here, Bovin. Taking out some levels. So NACA, what is this one doing on the day? Let's just take a gander here, 16%. It's a $2 billion market cap, though, so it's not really in my wheelhouse. Good look, Bovin, but definitely not one that I want to get involved in. It's got to be a small cap gapper, so you know what I'm talking about there. Joey.
Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, let's take a look at Coinbase there for you for my guy, Waro Rodriguez. Waro, Coin, hopefully I said your name right. So, yeah, I mean, I talked about this earlier. Wow, I'm surprised it's this illiquid. There's no way. Oh, okay, that's not even the right one. There's no way that's the case. I mean, we like coin, right? Off of the daily, especially off of these lows, as long as 292 continues to hold, if you break this trend here and then you open up tomorrow, say tomorrow or sometime throughout the week on the north end of that, then I think you'll be okay, to be honest with you. And I'm looking for a potential swing on that. We're gonna go on CoinL. be exact. So CONL. This is 2x leveraged. Again, you don't want to be holding onto these for the longer duration. This is more or less you have it for a couple of days, or you intraday trade it specifically, and then you get going. Because if you hold it for more time, you're just going to lose value to the decay. As you can see, from the peak to that low, you're down 60% in CoinL, when in the actual underlying asset in which it's derived from is only down 30%. So keep that in mind. There we go. There goes TQs. Jag, we're rocking and rolling. Charlie Taff, I know you're cooking up on this one as well too. So do we add a little bit more? That was the potential add, as Apple is helping drag this overall market to the downside stream, and the volume really starting to accelerate and pick up, something that we extremely, extremely like and want to see for this potential trade. Look at the volume on the lower time frame really starts to kick in. Now you're starting to get a rebound. That 1 minute hammer candle can be a worst case scenario, or we might just continue on that trajectory to the southeast. So let's see what we got. Potential add opportunity there if Apple wants to continue to bleed. But there's so many mixed signals. It's been a choppy session. I'm not completely in love with that. So patience, patience, patience. Potential add. Adara, what do you got?
Yeah, we just got the other Apple Intelligence reference there with respect to the iPhone. Go ahead, Adara.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that they're saying that this is something that's never been brand new to the iPhone, and then before Tim Cook could name it, then they transitioned to a video. So I'll let you guys know once we get more details on that. It does seem to be likely maybe Apple Intelligence or AI related. Their iPhone 17, which they just finished introducing, one of 4, and that's an A19 chip.
Adara, yes, they are now talking about the iPhone Slim, and they're comparing it to someone's finger, the thickness of it, that is. And yeah, so you guys can watch for yourselves, obviously, but widely speculated online, Joey Options, that we were going to get this. It was no secret, because you know, you've got to tell the telecom companies that they're going to have a certain device, so leaks, and you got to tell all the manufacturers are going to make the cases. So many different leaks that could make their way online. That's kind of how we knew about this from a long time ago. Anyway, so they're talking about it now. Market not really reacting. It was priced in. They got one camera bump there on the back. What I didn't think, they were going to have a horizontal camera bump. The pictures that and the videos that I'd seen online of the leaked versions didn't have a protruded camera bump. It was just like a single bump, as opposed to the kind of the horizontal camera bump there. So not really, obviously, that's going to change anything for anyone. But when it's something so slim, though, you don't want too much of a protrusion, because then it becomes super kind of
remember they're having issues with the other phone. I forget which one it was, where it was bending in people's pockets.
I remember that one was the iPhone 6S.
Was it?
It was like the first one that they made, like the bigger screen to copy the Android.
The bigger one.
People were looking, put in their pocket, and it would bend. It was hideous.
That's not going to be the case. I mean, this is pretty.
Can you imagine that happens?
But like, I mean, this is pretty thin. I don't know. What I don't know. Do we need to go? This is literally.
It's like half of it. Yeah. But Joseph, even if it's going to be half the size, once you throw on a case, it's going to get a lot thicker.
It's going back.
But it's not going to be as thick as that. Though. That's going to be half.
This isn't like overly thick, though. You know what I mean? Like, so the slim.
I personally don't. It doesn't bother me.
No.
But I can see other people that may get some benefit off it. All right, guys, we're doing okay here on CDTG. Got in at 90s, scalped up all the way into 98, looking for that move above $1 again. My bias is this moves up again above $1. Who knows if it does or doesn't. Apple introduces iPhone Air, its slimmest model ever, on the screen. Thank you, Adara, for keeping us apprised. The market not reacting any favorably. We kind of expected this was going to happen. So much had been released online about what to expect today, so I think the market had kind of digested all that. So I'm just going to focus on the CDTG trade. Looking for a dip trade into 85. I think this is probably not the right move anymore, since we've already kind of bottomed out at that 85 area low. And this is a little bit unusual for a small cap south of $1 like this. It has a $0.015 spread. That's why we didn't get filled on that dip trade into 85, despite the fact that we were waiting at 86. We didn't get the fill as a result of the spread. Moves back up. If it comes back down, I'm going to let it trigger, because my bias is that it holds up above prior area low. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm going to continue to focus on CDTG, but I want to bring your attention again, obviously, to the elephant in the room, the gorilla in the room. 67.74 for QMMM, up over 500%. Halt time is 137.28. It is now 145. So this will at least be 10 minutes. I've got to tell you, though, there was a prior hull of 25 minutes. So you might have to pack your patience on that one before it opens. In either event, we'll report on it to you, and we'll continue to update you on the tap, which is the most important part. Again, the halt level, 67.74. Joey, guess what the tap is? Halt level 67.74.
72.
75.
Ooh,
it's
close.
Getting crazy over here for QMMM. So that not only will take out the high of the day at 69.20, but it's going to add to that easily another $5.25. So we'll keep an eye on this one, the big mover of the day.
All righty. Yeah, let's go Bitcoin here. We're long it off of these lows, slowly starting to curl over. So we're going to see if we can continue on this path. There it is. It's why it's so hard to short this market, man. I get significantly more frustrated trying to short because I'm just generally a bullish individual. So there it is. IBIT, we're in that one, curling off of these lows. We are at the top end of the range, not the best. Banner 6. Unfortunately, we got some screen going on. But Adara, what do you got for us?
Apple, you're talking about A19 Pro. This is the chip for their iPhone Air, which again, their slim model, and apparently this is the fastest chip in any smartphone is what they're saying here. So again, in addition to the A19 chip in Model 17, they have what they're saying is a more efficient chip, the A19 Pro for the iPhone Air. Again, their slimmest model yet.
For that, Adara. So yeah, again, here we are, top end of the range. We have to wait for it to breach in order for us to be wrong. Not the best idea. And then sure enough, we have the Nasdaq starting to climb higher, breaks through that. We're going to hop out of that trade. NVDA starting to slowly grind, but Apple most likely will drag this market to a new high. Adara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Apple just said that they're at the forefront of AI acceleration, which is an interesting comment. But they're talking right now about, I guess, the role of AI in this A19 chip. They're saying they're building Neuralink accelerators. I need to make sure I'm saying this correctly, but yeah, either way, I guess this A19 Pro has some AI components. And again, the company did claim that they have been at the front at AI acceleration for the past 8 years. We also have CFO of Citigroup, Mark Mason, making more comments here, saying that rate cuts are likely going to start at September and that consumer spending has been strong and they don't detect any unusual credit card delinquencies.
What you were saying there, Dara, was they're upgrading the GPU in the A19 chip by adding neural networks into there. So that's kind of what they're doing. So the graphic processing unit getting an upgrade in the A19 chip. Again, market not really reacting, but this is moving right now. QMMM is insane. 610%, $83 high. It's going absolutely buck wild. It looks like it was going to halt there momentarily, dropping into 77. It's got a gap, obviously, here between the prior halt level at 69 and change and the open of this current candle, which is essentially at 75. So this is all sorts of crazy right now, Joseph. QMMM, 645%. This could be the squeeze. We could easily see $100, much in the same way that we kind of saw the squeeze on Octo yesterday. So this is very, very strong, very parabolic, but for goodness sakes, trade it carefully. You'll find yourself on the other side of this very quick, but it also has the opportunities to create crazy profits. $85 high now. Correction, $88 high. This is going to squeeze into 700%, 680%, continuing to go. I don't know what the halt levels are. Would be nice to know. Now, 88, sorry, I said 89, 88, 82. Here's the halt parameter triggering in 88, 82. Big, huge move up for QMMM as all sorts of people are getting squeezed. And to the high side here, 688%, halted again. 1348.56, Joseph. What a move up for QMMM. 688%, baby.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to watch this one, Joseph, but we're doing it live here on CDTG. I told you guys this was likely to hold a higher low, and here we go again. Let's go ahead and set up now with some profit takers into that area spike. Now, don't forget that we did reject that prior area high. We couldn't get to that $1.24, right? We got to about $1.20 last time, so we do have lower highs. That is a cause for concern, right? Because, you know, lower highs are not the move. So we'll continue to watch this one, Joey. We're long at 90 pennies. We're going to trade this one until it tells us I'm no longer to be traded.
Yeah, some nice moves there. You're catching on that one. A lot of wicks up and down there, so very interesting. Yeah, TQs, we're still sitting in this failed high there, so hopefully we get that move through this support level as that's starting to work. IBIT, we're still sitting at the top end of the range. Obviously, you want to be in the lower end. Oh, and I'm looking at the tape in my peripheral here, and sure enough, that's not what I want to see right there. So continuous at the ask, and then you can see above the ask, so some strength displayed. Keep an eye out on that. Yeah, this QMMM thing is absolutely nuts. I remember you just asked me a couple minutes ago what I thought the top was at. I said 72. It is. You said 75. It's now $13 higher than that, which is just mind-blowing in my opinion, but it is what it is. Don't be too surprised. Sitting in hood since morning. Let's go. What is that up to? We'll take a good gander at my friend Robinhood, considering it's getting added to the S&P, and it was skyrocketing yesterday. So from the lows, good look there, Gorev. Nothing horrible. Obviously not the ideal continuation setup, but there it is. Post-market Friday, grinding higher, opens up Monday, goes to almost the all-time high, 117.50, which 120 going to be that previous all-time high, and then sure enough, bounces off the lows at 113.99 there, Sharif.
All right. Drago saying Wolf is at the high of the day, so let's take a look at that bad boy. WULF. See where this one's at. One that we've traded many times before. Okay, great look there, man. Good call out by you on that. This is up 10.25% on the day, and it is at the day high. Very calm move by this bad boy. Let's take off, or let's put back on the pre-market action so we can get a good look at the levels in the pre-market. Yeah, great flat top break through that 970. It didn't look back. It looks like it really found support every single time at the 20 exponential on the 5. This is WULF, guys. Sorry, let me just throw in that ticker. Nice. Yeah, that's a good one, man. This is TerraWolf, right? WULF. Yeah, TerraWolf. Yeah, 1016 high. I would be looking at anything off that yellow line. That yellow line is the 20 exponential moving average. That's where I'd be looking to get in if the trend holds. So yeah, back to my trade, CDTG. We went the beak there at 08s, still waiting at 09s. I'm unsure if I'm going to allow this order at 85 to trigger. So I'm biased that we had higher lows on this one, but I'm not sure, if we start putting in aggressively lower highs, and I would submit to you 108 is an aggressively lower high than 121, then is the move still intact with the higher low? So I think if this one breaks 90, I'm going to flatten out and not allow 85 to trigger. We're going back to Adara.
Here about Apple, they just announced, I guess, the eSIM. It's eSIM only, this new iPhone 17, or sorry, not iPhone 17, iPhone Air. I did mention as well, and you can see it on the headlines there in where the position board is, but pretty interesting. The iPhone Air, if you're going to be filming things, it actually is a dual camera. So for example, if you're filming a sports game, you're able to film both your reaction in the front camera and then also the game itself with the back camera. So simultaneous selfie mode and back camera mode. Interesting stuff.
That's a good one, Ram. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, Ram. But yeah, that does look like GTA 6. Yeah, that's all I'm watching right now. CDTG continuing to zig and zag. Joseph a little above $1, a little bit below. It's really the only one that I've got my focus on as I'm very unlikely to trade. QMMM. Shout out to Party P. $5 super chat. Dropping the cash in the chat. Sold off my UNH options for 400% gains. What a time to be alive. Still holding on to some more, but locked in profits. LFG. Love y'all at TTV. We love you, Party P, and I happen to love your name. Shout out to my man. Good vibes, Party P, Joey.
Party P, do you know Skateboard P or no? Do you know Skateboard P?
Yeah, what's his name? The singer guy. I
just
forget his name.
Ram, do you know who Skateboard P is? Skateboard P. Oh, okay, that's right. Adara.
Kid Cudi?
Oh,
Where is it?
Okay, stop.
I know that it was...
stop. Adara, Skateboard P.
Is this not Pharrell?
Yes, it is.
It is Pharrell, yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay,
I knew he was an artist.
Somewhere along the lines, right? No.
I'm 100. Leave me alone.
No, that's all right. You're close. Yeah, whatever happened to Kid Cudi? Yeah, Adara, what do you got for us?
As I mentioned, I'm not actually watching this White House press conference. I'll watch it back later for anything of interest. But it is worth noting, Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, has talked about these BLS revision numbers quite a bit. In case you guys missed it, we had the largest revision in history with regards to the NFP this morning, negative 911,000. Caroline Levitt is talking, much like we've had some other comments from the Trump administration earlier today, about these numbers, saying that that the White House hopes that Trump's BLS nominee will soon be confirmed. So we're going to have to wait and see. BLS numbers, again, on watch. It's just, I guess, in terms of economic data and employment data specifically. Interesting to know and worth noting. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Yeah, you got Timmy C back on the mic on the ones and twos here, talking about the thin design, iPhone Air, lineup, yada, yada, yada. Timmy C, let's go, bro. Where's the good stuff right now, man? Where's that new product that we all want?
That we all want.
That curveball.
I don't know. We said this before. We said this before, Sharif. I think Timmy C is more of a peacetime CEO than a wartime
straight
individual.
to jail.
But I mean, $95 on QMMM. What in what the hell?
What the freaking helly? 95.52. You just punch into this one and shut the hell up and walk away.
Oh, and then you come back, and then it goes from $95, and you look, it's at $35, and you're like, what the heck?
And if you try to put stops on this, your spread better be like $10.
Oh, brother,
because you may not get triggered on that stop, baby.
Yeah, that's not a punch and pray unless you're in at like $10 or something.
So now we're seeing the new design of the iPhone Pro Max. So it's a marked departure from the back. So the back is a little different. It's got a horizontal camber bunk, kind of like a rectangle, and it's gonna have this kind of design area on the bottom of the phone where the wireless charging is gonna come in play. And so that's gonna look a little different. You know, can we just be honest here? How many people do you think upgrade the iPhone for the superficial look of having that newer design iPhone? Ram has her hand up. I don't want to say anything, but that's the thing, Joey. How many people do you think are going to upgrade just based on the change in the look?
I think there obviously, you'll have some individuals who are doing it just because of that, like all the iPhone junkies, people who want to collect every single iPhone. But I don't know if
like the collecting thing. It's just for wanting to have that latest thing.
I don't know, man. For me, again, I don't know. That's not something that intrigues me. Like, I could care less what you think of what I'm wearing or what I have or anything. I do it for myself. There's people that do it, obviously, because they want to show. Yeah, me?
You're always dressed well, bro.
You
got the latest phone. You got the latest gear.
Okay,
don't tell me that's just for you. Come on, Joey.
You think I do it for? Who do you think I do it for?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe your girlfriend, all the fans, all the contacts on there.
Yo, whatever, brother. I walk down the street.
Trying to pull your leg,
yeah, obviously,
I'm pulling your leg, man. I love you, bro.
People who I don't know and like who obviously would have no influence on whatever they think of me, I ain't doing it for you. I'm not doing it. It's that simple.
I love it.
It's that simple. I told you more or less. The reason why I started doing it, I was getting dressed and sitting at my desk at home like this. At home on my own.
That's crazy.
When no one was watching. Why do I do it? Because it's mental preparation.
All right.
So if I'm putting on the nice clothes, that means I'm getting mentally prepared. It's the beginning. It's your pre-workout before you hit the gym.
That's crazy.
That's what I did.
I love it. I've just never heard clothing compared to pre-workout, but I get it.
It's a bad example. It's essentially me just the preparation. It's me getting ready to execute on the day.
I got you, man. I'm just pulling your leg.
Yeah, of course. But in all seriousness, that's why I do it. I was sitting at my desk alone at home dressed like this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, brother.
Bro, you got to see my pajamas. I wouldn't be caught dead outside the house in my PJs.
What do you wear? What do you got?
Shorts and t-shirt, but they're hideous, bro.
All right.
The thing is, I do all my TikTok videos in that hideous shirt.
How old are they?
Dude, it's from a CrossFit tournament. It was called Bros and Does. Right? So you had to partner with a girl at the tournament, and that's where the t-shirt's from, and I've held on to it as my PJs, man.
What?
I mean, like, you don't even want to see what I look
totally
like.
off topic. Shout out to Calvin Klein, though, man. I've had the same pair of Calvin Klein, like, remember the 3-packs for probably at least 10, 15 years now. And they're still good, and they ain't going anywhere.
They ain't going anywhere. I don't want to hear about that, bro. All right, man. Joey Options is absolutely sick. Loving this conversation. I hope y'all having a good time with us today. And yes, we have this one continuing to go. 747.5% is QMMM in the green. It is halted again to the upside at 95.52. The halt time is 1:55.09. It is currently 1:59. 155.09. It is currently 159.20. So at earliest, this one will be open up at 1 o'clock and 9 seconds. So we'll see exactly what the new move is. The tap showing only a penny above the current halt price, 95.53. We're halted at 95.52. The only one I'm involved in has been CDTG. I've been looking for a breakout on this one. It's continuing to put in higher highs and higher lows. I just don't want to take out too much if it's not warranted, especially if we're going to have a price spike into that 20 penny area. So that's what I'm watching right now. That's all I've got. Continuing to kind of monitor the Apple event in my ear. Just talking about the iPhone and the different shape and the cameras and the design, the engineering and all that good stuff that they love to talk about at these events. Randy, A19 Pro, that's their new chip. They're trying to make a big deal out of it, saying they upgraded the GPU and they put a whole bunch of different neural networks in it. So. Neural networks, a whole bunch of tech stuff there. Joseph, options?
Tech stuff.
2 o'clock, baby.
2 o'clock. Yeah, I hope everyone had a good day. It is Tuesday. Relatively quiet with the exception of the Apple release. That's been positive, helping drag the market up, but you can see it start to come back in, guys. We will start to get rocking and rolling again. We are slightly post-earnings season, so keep that in mind. But never a lackluster day in this market.
We are unhalted here, Joseph, and we're up 766%. The high of the day, $100 on the dot, 100.00. QMMM continuing to go. I'm sure the boys will be looking at it. Maybe they won't. We'll have to wait and see. It's dropping back down, though, now into 91, 92, so it's giving up a little bit. Trade this carefully, guys. See everybody tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Take care, guys.
What up?